Okay.
Hello, both sides of the conversation family. We welcome you to this virtual space crafted especially for you. My name is Jada Curry, and I'm both sides of the conversation's marketing director and graphics design specialist. I want to take some time to ground us all as a community into this space we are about to open up in, so let's go through our community standards. Both sides of the conversation is providing a safe and honest space for open conversation, so we ask that you all be respectful of that. We also ask that you be respectful of each panelist, host, and participant. We do encourage healthy debates and conversations. Don't personalize anything with anyone. This includes name-calling, bullying, trolling, or shaming. This will not be allowed or tolerated. Your perspective is yours. It is not a prescription. You do not have to agree, but show respect. These community standards apply to all of our live shows and any virtual spaces that we hold on social media, including YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We want to make sure that we are caring for each other as a community. This is our priority in all of our endeavors as both sides of the conversation. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's show and continue to stay in touch with us via YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or all of them. All right, thank you for listening and see you soon.
Welcome everybody to both sides of the conversation. I'm John Henry. Today is Sunday, so you know what that means. Every Sunday we have a Sunday conversation. This Sunday is special because we have our youth. They're back to host their Sunday conversation. Today they are talking about teen pregnancy from the youth's perspective. This should be a great conversation today. I got co-hosted with me today, Tony Rochelle. She's here and back, so she's going to be helping us get through some of the questions and comments today as we let our youth go ahead and do their thing for their Youth Sunday conversation. This is the last Sunday of the month, so we are excited as we start moving into August, because as you all know, August is Black Small Business Month and Black Business Month. So we want to make sure this month of August, we want to get out and support all of our Black businesses as much as possible. Make sure that you are intentional while you're out there spending your dollars. Try to make sure you find a Black business that you can support and do your dollars with them. With that being said, it is Leo month, okay? Welcome to all the Leos. Let's wake that up, because people been hitting me like, man, you ain't giving the Leos no love. And I want to shout out all my Leos, all my Leo kings and queens out there. We are enjoying our month. I know everybody hate it when it's our month and we just act up, but just want to say shout out to all the Leos out there. We got some phenomenal Leo events, birthdays that we're going to be hooking up with. And it is my birthday this month, so you know I'm extra this month for all of the Leos. So just excited about this month. And we're going to keep giving it up and showing love to all of our Leos out there as the month continues through. Cancers, y'all had y'all time, and y'all Virgos, y'all got to wait just a little bit longer before we pass the mic to y'all. But we are excited for this month. Very, very powerful folks. A lot of powerful Leos making moves around this country. So shout out to all y'all dope Leos as well. Also want to give a community quick update. As you all know, the second suspect that was part of the vicious attack that was taken against James Spangola, Uncle Stank, has been arrested. So that is good. Community folks, was able to help or apprehend the other suspect. So he is now in custody. So with that being said, we're just thankful that those folks are not on the streets to be able to cause harm to anyone else. And we're going to have more conversations and topics about how we protect our community centers, how we can protect our youth in those spaces, as well as our elders in the community. So we have a number of things that we're going to be working with a number of community folks on, and some of our elected officials, to make sure these type of attacks and these type of things that take place in our community don't happen again. A lot of work to do, but it's going to take all of us. A lot of things happening around both sides of the conversation. This week is going to be a busy week, as you will see us all around the city, going to spots, doing things. We have National Night Out, so we'll be at the National Night Out in Baby Hunters Point, as well as in the Fillmore, and maybe one or two other spots across the community. As y'all know, National Night Out has been going on forever. It is a time for community police to come together, talk about issues, engage. They'll have food and entertainment for our youth. It's a great time out. So you all see us out in community as well. Also, this Saturday coming up, August 6th, we'll be doing our backpack giveaway with Mo Magic and Collective Impact, as well as we'll be doing our backpack giveaway with B Magic. So we're looking forward to that. Any community folks looking for backpack, school supplies, please reach out to us. Check out our social media handles. Check out our newsletters, as we'll be putting all of the locations where folks are giving away backpacks, school supplies, and things of that nature, so that our community know where to go get the resources. Don't be ashamed. Don't be prideful. Go out there and get some of that backpacks and supplies for our young folks as school is coming back on. A lot of kids have already started, and some over the next couple of weeks will be getting back to school. We want to make sure that our youth have all of the supplies that they need. Also, we'll be turning over the platform to the ladies of both sides of the conversation the week of the 15th through the 23rd, as I'll be out on vacation. So community, y'all have to be my police. I'm going to have my phone on, but y'all got to take notes. Tell me how they do. Tell me what they're
We got this. Hey, community, we got this. Let me stop him right now, because he will keep going. Don't worry about what we doing, because we're going to hold it down, and it's going to be juicy. So y'all make sure y'all tune in.
We'll make sure they get y'all the topics, but they'll be having an all-ladies Sunday conversation. So we'll be looking for that. I'll have my phone off. I won't have no way to be a part of this. So y'all have to tell me how it goes. But I think they'll do great. They'll be hosting our Hidden Gem show, as well as our Educational Thursday. So just look out for the week of the 15th. It's going to be a busy week, but y'all won't see me. But the both sides of the conversation team, they are going to be holding it down and doing what they're supposed to do. So just wanted to get that out there, and just let everybody know there was a number of community events that took place this weekend. Folks were out having a good time. Got to give a shout out to Chuck Johnson, as they did a phenomenal job with the event for the Loonies and 3-Time Crazy, bringing the Bay Area legends back to the Bay for a day. There was a number of other events that's been taking place. So just want to say shout out to them for the work that they've been doing as well. So with that being said, I'm going to run across a couple of the community announcements, some of the stuff that's going on in our event, and then I'll pass it over to Tony, and she's going to read some of the statistics, some of the information for today's show, and then we'll get started and turn it over to our youth. As you all have heard, or may not have heard, there's been bacteria and a number of infectious disease that's been found in soil across the United States, mainly in Mississippi. The Center of Disease and Control Prevention has issued an alert after potentially deadly bacteria was discovered on U.S. soil and water. The CDC has reportedly began asking healthcare workers to be careful observing patients who may be experiencing symptoms related to the virus called buckholder, whatever it is, contracting this bacteria is said to cause a rare disease in the body, which kills 10 to 50% of the people who are diagnosed with the condition worldwide. The CDC stressed in a health advisory on Wednesday to further reveal that the bacteria was first identified in soil and water in the Gulf Coast region, southern Mississippi. 2 people had previously contracted it. So as you all can hear, it's been a number of viruses and bacteria going around this country. Another big thing, the monkeypox is definitely spreading fast. Our mayor here in San Francisco has already declared monkeypox as a health emergency. It is spreading fast, and we're going to have some folks from the Department of Public Health that's going to be coming on soon in the next couple of weeks to be talking about monkeypox, the vaccination. This disease is spreading across our country. It's here in the Bay Area and across the country as well. A number of folks have already tested for it, so be careful out there. Also, President Joe Biden tested positive again, second time for COVID-19. There has been an increase in numbers across the Bay Area and across this country as well. So please be safe out there. Do your part. Wear your mask. This COVID is still spreading around in our community. And as we get closer to the winter months and the flu season kicks up, there's going to be a lot of issues. So y'all just be prepared out there. Be safe and be mindful. Wash your hands, especially with this monkeypox. And just be careful. Pay attention to people. Look at them. Be observant. Some stuff you can't see. Some stuff you can see. But be careful out there as these diseases and these viruses and bacteria in our air, it's around. And we want to make sure that we're doing our best to protect ourselves so that we don't spread it into our communities any further. Also in Eastern Kentucky, there was a flood that left 25 people dead. They had issued a disaster declaration for Kentucky. If you all have seen on the news, it's been all kind of flood. People, houses underwater, cars are flooded, 25 people killed as that natural disaster has taken place, and that water is running rampant down there, and folks are still struggling. So our prayers and our condolences out to those families and to the folks down in Kentucky. If you know family down there, please check on them, make sure that they are all right, because that storm has really impacted them. The water moving through there has been terrible for what's been going on. The final 2 ex-Minneapolis police officer that was convicted in the George Floyd case, I think they was finally sentenced. 3 of them were sentenced to 3.5 years for violating George Floyd's civil rights. So y'all know this stuff is still almost getting to the point where it's complete. And Derek Chauvin was given 20 plus 5 years of time as well. So again, some justice. Still, we got a long way to go when we talk about policing and community. As you all have been seeing, that's in our Facebook group and page. There's been a number of police shootings, police incidents that are still happening in our community. So we are not out the woodwork yet. We're going to have to continue to work with police, have these conversations, and talk to them about policing in our community. Also, the House passed a semi-automatic gun ban. They passed, I think that was Friday, a 50-50. They went 50-50 on it, but I think they had the one vote that turned it over in direct response to the firearm use. So it's a couple things that's going to be changed, and they're going to list out how it's going to be impacted. But I know the AR-15 was one of the guns that was on there. Also making sure that young folks are 21 years of age or older to buy certain assault rifles and things of that nature. So we'll see how much impact this gun bill has. We'll see if it works, if the gun shootings and things go down. I don't know if that's going to be all that it's going to take, but hey, we'll take anything as a start and see how it goes. Also, I just want to give a quick update to our both sides of the conversation group folks and on all of our social media. Just want to take a quick second here to just let people know how our groups function and a number of things. I've been getting messages from people about the group and what's going on and things of that nature. So one, I just want community to know, okay, both sides of the conversation, our job is one, to change the narrative, and we want to have dialogue and conversations, both sides on anything that's going on. So people that's in our group, I need people to understand if you are in our Facebook group, okay, that's where a lot of the both sides of the conversation, topics, memes, videos are taking place. So I know a lot of people reach out to me saying, what's going on with the group? It looks like everything is going this way. The whole job is to have conversation in our group, get our community folks to talk, engage, and try to deal and have conversations throughout the week until we get up to our Sunday conversations about different topics, okay? I know there's topics in there that drive people blood pressure up. I know there's memes, different things that impact people, but our job is to really have conversation on these issues. So our group is different from our page, okay? If you go to our Both Sides of the Conversation Facebook page, that's where you'll find all our community events, places that we'll be at, and then some of the things that we're doing to impact community. That's more of the business professional page of both sides of the conversation. So a lot of the dialogue, a lot of the memes, a lot of the stuff that's going on in the group, you won't see that in our Facebook page. Okay. Now, on our Instagram, same thing. Most of you'll just see events, highlights of events that we're at, things that we're posting to inform community, as well as our Twitter. But our Facebook group is where most of the dialogue and the interactions with other community folks happen. There's about 3,400 people in there. So we just need people to be respectful. Okay. We don't need people personalize things in the group. If you don't like one of the memes or one of the posts, just scroll down. There's a lot of content, a lot of things that's going on in the group. So just be mindful of that. We want to be respectful. And again, I know a couple of people have reached out to me. There's different Republican, different Democrat, different folks in our group. I am not just removing people because they are Republican. They have a different opinion. Okay, the whole purpose of both sides of the conversation is to have conversations, to agree to disagree, but to hear different perspectives. We don't have to agree with them, but I'm not just going to kick people out of there because they said they a Trump supporter or whatever. Let them have their piece. They can say what they need to say, and we're not going to police tone people in our group, because we don't believe in that. We believe having both sides of the conversation. But if it's something that's posted in there that you don't agree with or it frustrates you, just scroll down to the next thing that's on there and don't even get attached to it. But again, all people in our group, on our Facebook group, we have our community rules in there. Again, if we catch people being disrespectful, personalized things, are coming for people in different ways, we will ask you to stop. And if it continues, we will remove you out of our group. And we're going to keep that same stance. But again, it's both sides of the conversation. It's a number of political topics that's in there, a lot of relationship stuff, a lot of different topics, a lot of different means. Again, if you don't like it, just scroll down to the next one and you don't have to get caught up in that. Also, just want to give a huge shout out to our community. Yesterday, we posted on our social media handle. We reached our 15,000 viewers. So that is a great little milestone for us here at Both Sides of the Conversation. So just want to thank all of our Both Sides of the Conversation team and all of you in the community that do your due diligence to check out what we're doing between YouTube and some of our social media handles. But with that being said, congratulations to you all. Congratulations to all of our Both Sides of the Conversation team as we reach that small minor hurdle of 15,000 folks viewed. Now we just need to get y'all 15,000 people to subscribe and like to our YouTube channel. But we'll get there. We'll keep educating y'all and getting y'all there. With that being said, I'm going to jump into the community events, and then I'll turn it over to Tony to go over the statistics for today's show. But today we're going to talk about the events that's coming up so you and the community can know what's going on, where we'll be at. So the 33rd Annual Pee Wee Basketball League registration is starting in August for boys and girls. So I believe they start on Monday. They also looking for volunteer coaches. The SF Rebels, they looking for boys and girls ages 5 to 14 years old. Please reach out to the SF Rebels if you would like to get your youth, or if you know someone in your family that you want to get involved that's in the age of 5 or 14, or if you a fella or you a lady out there who would like to coach young men and young girls in basketball and you would like to do that, please reach out to SF Rebels, and they are looking for volunteer coaches as well. Also, the San Francisco African American Reparation Committee, they're going to be having another support and economic empowerment subcommittee, which is going to be happening. This will be on via Zoom. This will happen this Monday at 6 p.m. If you would like to register, please go to info@megablack.org if you would like to be a part of that reparations committee and hear what's going on for reparations here in San Francisco. Also, the Bayview National Night Out is happening. They're going to have community talent shows, kids zone, free food, and much more. That is happening this Tuesday, August the 2nd, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Bayview Opera House at 4705 3rd Street. Again, at 5 p.m., they'll be setting up around 4:30. But again, get out there. It should be a great event for community. National Night Out is happening all over this country. So there's a number of places. We'll be at both of them. I'm going to have some of our team at the Bayview location, and we'll have folks over at the Western Edition. In the Western Edition, we'll be at Ella Hill Hutch. Collective Impact and Mo Magic is hosting this event. We'll be over there as well. That is starting at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. They're going to have food, different things for the young folks. That's going to be at 1050 McAllister Street at the Ella Hill Hutch Community Center. So we're looking forward to seeing community and family out for that as well. Also, the National Night Out for Safety and Liberation is happening from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's going to be happening at the Mission Creek Park Amphitheater, and that's 290 Channel Street in San Francisco, 94612. And there's a number that's going on in Ingleside, as well as a number of other stations in the city. They'll be having National Night Out. Also, Project Recklessness. Reckless is happening. Summer car maintenance clinics. Learn how to change oil, change tire, vehicle inspection and design. That is kicking off August the 4th from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. They're going to be doing that at 1449 Mendale Street. If you would like to sign up, if you got young folks, if you would like to learn how to change the oil, change the tire, learn something about cars, we got some young folks that need to get into something. This is a great program for them to get into. Their email address is up there on the screen. The website is up there as well, and you can get your young folks involved. Also, the Friday Teen Night Out is happening again on Friday, August the 5th. They got food, music, game trucks, and much more happening. It's at the Indian Basin Shoreline from 5:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. right behind the old West Point there off of 3rd Street. And let me tell y'all, they had one this Friday night, and the young folks had a great time. I seen some of the video. I wasn't able to make it, but I was able to see the young folks having a good time. A lot of teenage folks was out there just enjoying themselves, and that's what we want our young folks to do, to be able to enjoy themselves. Also, this Saturday, we'll be out there at the Live and Free Alumni and Friends Barbecue. They are celebrating 35 years of service to our community, so we'll be out there from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., but we'll be there a little late as we'll be wrapping up our backpack giveaway. Once that is over, we'll be headed over to that barbecue up until 6 p.m. That'll be at the Castro Valley Community Park, which is at 18988 Lake Chabot Road in Castro Valley. For all the folks that want to come out, if you heard Dr. Marshall on the radio, we was just on his show a couple weeks ago. He's been doing Street Soldiers on Cameo. So y'all know the voice of Dr. Marshall on Street Soldiers. That is 35 years. They will be celebrating, and we'll be out there at Castro Valley Community Park. Also, the Invest Black and Youth Comedy Show is happening August 13th. We'll be at that event. Please go to the ticket Eventbrite. I just got an email that they might have released 20 more tickets or something like that, or somebody canceled, bought a bunch of tickets or whatever. But there's some tickets if you like to be a part of that comedy show and see what's going on. More information coming, but that's August 13th. We'll be out at that event as well. Also, the Be Magic 19th annual backpack giveaway celebration is happening Saturday, August 13th at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So we'll be at that event as well. So we'll be at the backpack giveaway earlier that day, and then we'll be going to the Invest Black comedy show later that night. But we'll be out there with the Be Magic. That's going to be happening at 155 Jennings Street in San Francisco, right in Bayview, right behind the old Hunters Point at the old PG&E plant. They'll be out there, and we'll be out there as well. Also, the MOAD in the Art Studios, they're having a virtual thing this Tuesday the 16th, August the 16th, from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. If you would like to be a part of that, check out some of the art that's going on, the things that they have going on. The Eventbrite is up on the screen, and we'll make sure we get that out to community as well. Should be a great event. Log on. It's a nice Zoom event. Check out some of the artwork that Black folks are doing and putting into the art theater is really nice. So we'll make sure we get that out as we get closer to that event. Also, the Young Black Climate Leaders are still looking for applications. They're accepting young folks. This is a youth-led organization. They are doing leadership from ages 18 to 28. Anybody between the ages of 18 and 28 years old are encouraged to apply. They are giving away $1,500 to $6,500 in stipends to support the work that you all are doing for social justice and climate. If you are a young person and you want to be a part of that, please sign up. Go out there. It's cool to earn a little stipend and be a part of the social justice movement and talk about some of the environmental things that as well. Also, don't forget, we are still helping Uncle Stanks GoFundMe. We put the GoFundMe information up on the screen. Again, thank you to all the community folks that have come together and support. This was a $100,000 campaign. I think we are close. I think we are at $70,000. So if you have not supported, you would like to support one of our elders of the community, one of the seniors that do so much for our community, please go to the GoFundMe and support them. Again, we are getting close. We are about $70,000. We're about $30,000 away from completing that $100,000 GoFundMe. So excited about that. Also, for both sides of the conversation announcements, we are still looking for both sides of the conversation volunteers to come and help us. There's a lot of things that we're trying to implement and do at this organization to help impact our community. We are looking for different folks with different talents. So if you're a person out there that have skill set, that have talent, have great ideas, you see what we're doing here at both sides of the conversation, and you would like to come on and support our community, man, we would love to have you. Please reach out to us and submit your information, and we'll have someone from our team reach out and bring you aboard. Go to our website, www.bsotc.org, or you can send information at info@bsotc.org. Also, if you'd like to support both sides of the conversation financially, you can go to Amazon Smile, okay? And you can sign up and choose both sides of the conversation as one of your charitable organizations. Every time you purchase something, no extra charge to you, but Amazon will donate 0.5% of your purchases to help support our organization and give us a donation of 0.5%. So that is cool. Help us out if you would like to help us out that way. I know a lot of y'all on Amazon. Every day I see the Amazon trucks in the community. It's always trucks flying. So please choose both sides of the conversation. Y'all see the work we do. All of these donations go back to helping impact our community, our youth, these phenomenal youth you see today, and many more things that we're doing for our community. And if you haven't been following us, again, we need folks to go to our YouTube, subscribe, like, turn on the alert notification. Check us out on Instagram. Check us out on our Facebook, on all social media handles at both sides of the conversation. We've been putting that information out to community, and we want to make sure that you all know how to connect with us. Please sign up for our newsletter so that we can continue to stay in contact with you and make sure that you are connected with the information, resources, and educational needs that we give for the community. Also, this Tuesday, Hidden Gem Show will be live out in the community. I think we had a few guests that we're going to be calling and rescheduling because we will be out at National Night Out. So y'all will see us live, but we'll be out in the community. Also, our Educational Thursdays will be happening again this Thursday from 6 p.m. And then we'll have an announcement for our Sunday conversation for next Sunday. I believe we're going to be talking about narcissism next Sunday. So that should be a great conversation as we start getting ready to wrap out. And like I said earlier, on the week of August the 15th, I will be out. So the ladies of both sides of the conversation will be handling the platform for that point until I come back. With that being said, enough of me. I've talked enough. It is now time to turn it over to Tony Michelle, and she's going to talk about the statistics and some of the things that we're going to be talking about for today with our youth about teen pregnancy here in the United States. With that being said, Tony, take over. It's on you.
Happy Sunday, community. I'm Tony Rochelle, your co-host of Both Sides of the Conversation, and we're going to get into these statistics on teen pregnancy. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, the U.S. teen birth rate has been steady declining since 1991. A record describes in teen birth was recorded from 2018 to 2019. While the teen birth rates between 2018 and 2019 were unchanged for non-Hispanics, Indian, Alaska, Native, non-Hispanic, Asians, non-Hispanic, and Native Hawaiians, and other Pacific Islander teens, there was 5.8 decrease among non-Hispanic white females, 5.2% decrease among Hispanic females, and 1.9% decrease among non-Hispanic Black females. Pregnancy and birth are significant contributions to high school dropout rates among women, as well as lower school achievements and increased risk of health issues, incarceration, and unemployment. When young males are included in decision-making, studies show an increase in effect methods of pregnancy and STI prevention. Teen fathers attend fewer years of school and are less likely to graduate high school than their peers. Those are the statistics that we have for you, community, on teen pregnancy. Welcome to our show. This is our teen show, and this is our topic: teenage pregnancies from the youth perspective.
All right. You want to go ahead and introduce the youth and bring them up, or you want me to, Tony? One of us could
go ahead. Go ahead. You got this.
All right. Well, we're going to bring up our youth now because this is their show. This is their conversation. We're going to start off and bring up the young brother, Devin Ward. Devin, welcome back to the youth conversation. Take the lead.
Everybody, how you doing? I'm Devin Ward, 20 years old in the Bay Area. Let's get into it.
All right. Next, we're going to bring up Deja Ward.
Hey everybody, I'm Deja Ward. Yeah, 22, go to Clark, Atlanta. Yeah, that's about it. Thank
All
you for
right.
having me.
All right. Nia.
Hi everyone, I'm Nia. I go to Clark as well. Let's get into it.
All right. Savion.
Hello, everybody. My name's Savion Babers. I'm from the Bay Area as well, and I'm 20 years old.
All right. Amaya. Amaya, you got to turn your mic on.
Hi, my name is Amaya. I'm 18 years old and I go to Hampton University.
All right. Nashay.
Hi, my name is Hey, I'm 20 and I'm from the Bay Area.
All right. And Miss Lynette Mackey.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lynette. I'm from the Bay Area and I'm 26 years old.
All right. Well, we're going to jump into today's conversation about teen pregnancy. You know, when we talk about teen pregnancy, there's a lot of issues behind it, a lot of stigmas behind it, a lot of misconception about teen pregnancy. But, teen pregnancy is a big issue in some communities, especially in the Black community. Some of it is not. But for whatever reason, when we talk about teen pregnancy, it seems like in the community, young females get the rap and they say it's a female issue. So the first question I want to ask you all to kick it off today is, why is teen pregnancy commonly viewed as a female issue? I would like to hear from the ladies. And we got Lynette, who's a new mom on here, so we'll really get a good perspective from a new mom. But do y'all feel like that is a true view that people have when we talk about teen pregnancy? Because it seems like we don't really include young males or males involved with it. I was a teen dad. So I'll give you a different perspective. But with that being said, we'll kick it off to you all and tell me, do y'all think people just view it as a young lady's issue, or what is y'all perspective on that question there? Anybody want to kick into it? Who want to start it?
Okay, I'll start. I do think that they do say it's the mother's fault or it's on the women, but really I think it's on both because the male and female, you both know that you had sex without protection. So that's why actually you saying that, and then people say that women should bring their own condoms, but then women rely on the men for that. But then also that's based around like having the talk as well, like on what age should we have that talk and if it actually works.
I think that people view it as a women problem because women are the ones carrying the child. If it was vice versa, if men had to carry a child, it would probably be the man's fault, as people would say.
I agree with you. I was actually going to say the same thing. I think it's just simple fact that the girls or women carry the baby. So it's kind of what you see if you don't see it. What's the saying? If it's not in sight, it's out of mind, something like that. So I feel like that's kind of it relates to that. And also, we try to get some young males on the show who have a kid at a younger age, and it's like kind of harder to get them to kind of speak about it. So I think that's important as well.
Yeah,
Anybody else
definitely.
want to answer that?
Well, not to answer it, but definitely when it came to the males, it was definitely more difficult. We asked a few if they wanted to talk about, their life or whatever, and how having a kid affected them. Thank you for the opportunity. No, thank you. So yeah, women are more open about that as well.
So I think that's the common thing when we talk about teen pregnancy or young folks being pregnant, is there's a lack of male accountability. I mean, just from you all bringing the perspective that young women are told that they have to have the condom in this, right? Now it comes down to the thing of the final decision is usually by the woman, right? So a lot of people, elders in the community, people say, well, they wouldn't have a baby if the girl did it. Is that something that y'all think that's just wrong in our culture, as sometimes our elders say that? Because I grew up in families like that. And that's what they would say, to the girl. No, it's your fault. If you got pregnant, it's your fault. So how do y'all feel as young people, your perspective? Savion, like, I want to hear the male's perspective. I was a young teenage dad. I can say I wasn't always responsible when I was young. I had my daughter at 17 years old. You know, sometimes as a young man, you're not just thinking about the impact of, getting the person you with pregnant, right? So you tend to lead and trying to be, do the right thing, but it always don't work like that. So I think the young women definitely have to be a little bit more disciplined and structured to deal with those situations, because the young dudes, they not thinking like that. But it's up to y'all. What do you think, Lynette?
I think that in reality, like no one's talking about that, but people say the mom has a choice whether or not to keep a baby or to get rid of the baby. And because of that, that's also saying, okay, it's your choice that you made to be a mom at a young age. And I feel like a lot of what everyone was saying was true, is that the guy is not showing, the guy is not there to say my belly's going to get big in 4 months and I'm able to walk around and say I don't have a kid on the way. That girl could have slept with somebody else, or this, that, the third. So because of that, it's easy for a guy to get out, wiggle through and say, oh well, that's not my responsibility. So it's vice versa in reality.
So I got a question, when we talk about responsibility, because I hear that, especially in the Black community, a lot of males try to opt out of being fathers because they do have those type of excuses of, oh, she was sleeping with somebody, this ain't really my baby, people told me she was with somebody else. So my perspective to the young folks is this, because I've thought about this and I said, hey, should it be a law made mandatory that as soon as a woman is pregnant, that they have to do some kind of paternity testing on the spot before, because now we have technology, right? So I know, just at the hospital I work with, even at 6 weeks or younger, I believe they could do DNA paternity tests on who the fathers is. Do y'all think that's something that they should implement, where it's mandatory before the birth certificate is signed, before the final months of the pregnancy, that we should find out, is it the fathers or the person that we suspect early on, or do y'all think it evades privacy and different things of that nature?
Um, I think that would be good to go for, as well as something that I've also been thinking about is letting a dad choose whether or not he wants to be in that child's life or not. Because I feel like 9 months to now, if the dad told the mom not to have that baby, I'm not ready to have a baby, he should not have to be ready to step up and be a father. Just like a mom is able to make her choice whether or not she wants to step up and be a mom. So I feel like there should be some type of way to say, you know what, let's not do this together. Or if you're going to do it, I want to sign my name off and say, we talked about this prior to, like, let's say, I guess 3 months or something, you can't have abortion anymore. At 3 months, both parents should be able to commit to, we're going to be a family, or we're going to be co-parenting, or whatever the case is. So yeah, I do definitely agree with that.
Now, Lynette, there's going to be a bunch of women out there that's going to say, well, we do that. 90% of these men are going to say, I don't want to be involved with the kids.
But that's not true, because there is some men out there, and let's say some teenage boys out there who has that responsibility, who never had a father in their life and want to step up and be a father. So it may be 80% or 70%. I ain't gonna give it a whole 90 though.
There's also sometimes though where men don't want to be in the child's life until they visually see the child, until they get to hold the baby in their hands. So I don't know if there should be a law for it, but they changed their mind, men specifically.
I feel like it depends because they don't know. That's why they should get the paternity test like in the beginning, just so they know. But it's like you don't know the feeling until you have that baby in front of you. Like you don't. Like yes, you think about you have a kid on the way, but it's out of sight, out of mind until that baby's right there in front of you. Until you got to realize you got to step up or not.
Yeah, that's a good one. Savion, you want to say anything?
don't know too much about kids. I don't got, I don't have none myself. But from what I could say, I do feel like it might invade like privacy. Especially could get out there to the world that somebody young having a kid, they probably won't want that out there. That's just me personally.
So what about this this paternity test? I mean, if we did it when the kid was born, right? You think that'll like relieve some of those issues though? I mean, if the baby is here now, you take the test, you verify that it's your child, um, you know, you think that will help, solve some of the issues that we have when we talk about teen pregnancy?
I actually I want to respond to some of these comments right here. The one that says he can choose not to be involved but still have to be financially responsible. I or still have to have a financial responsibility. I agree with that because if you choose not to be involved, but and then that also goes and coincides with the both sides of the conversation comment about how a baby is often a result of unprotected sex. So dear boys and men, strap up. That's facts. Like they didn't do that by themselves. The woman, it's not all on her. If you choose not to be in the baby's life, okay, that's cool. But she didn't do it by herself. So you should have to have some type of responsibility. You should have to help them even if you don't want to be in their life.
I definitely agree with that. I ain't gonna lie. I definitely do agree with that. I
Yeah,
mean, it
I
takes two
agree.
people to create a baby. So I mean, if you did it, I feel like she'll step up to the plate. I feel like that's what you should, just step up to the plate. Or if you can't, just don't.
So Savion and Devin, since y'all the only two males on here, y'all don't have kids, but I want to ask y'all about male male pills that males could take to protect themselves, like birth control. What do y'all feel about male birth control? Because I hear there's some new male birth control. Because sometimes ladies don't be understanding. Accidents do happen. Now I was 17, and I've had some accidents happen. So I know accidents do happen. But for the young brothers, do y'all think male birth control is something that we need for young males in our community when we talk about this young youth pregnancy and these accidents? Do y'all think that's something that we should be really promoting and pushing in our community?
Definitely, definitely. I definitely feel like that'll actually that'll help a whole lot. The females have their thing, their birth control. It'll be perfect for a male to have birth control as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we should definitely have the option to choose whether or not that you want to take birth control. Me personally, I'm not too fond of the idea. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like a condom is it's not 100% as we all know, but I feel like it's it can be enough if you use it correctly and you're cautious. So, but I do think that you should definitely have the option for those who don't maybe don't want to use a condom, just want to you take the alternative of a pill. So I think the option is a good idea.
All right. Well, we could move on to the next question that I think was one of the top questions people was asking. Is teen pregnancy a social problem? Do y'all feel that this is a social issue that's not impacting just the black community, but all communities? But we'll focus on the black community. Do y'all feel like this is a social problem? The amount of young parents, some of the things that we see with parenting, some of the issues that we face in our community. Do y'all think that teen pregnancy is a big part of that social problem?
Can you elaborate a little bit more? Like, what do you mean a social problem? Like,
So
or
people feel a number of things when we talk about young folks being pregnant. They say, young people having babies don't have the experience to raise other kids, and then we have these generation of kids who like lack respect, not socially involved because they don't have the uh, proper training from parents, right? Because they say babies raising babies, right? How much of a great lifestyle can a teen give to a person if they have a baby. So if you're 17 years old and you have a baby, right now they say it takes about $350,000 a year to raise a kid, right? Most kids that's 17 to 25, 28 years old can't afford $350,000. So it becomes a social problem, meaning that, you have this kid, now you financially can't take care of it. Now we have social programs that people have to pay taxes for, whether it's welfare, whether it's child care, whether it's medical, whatever it is. And they say it creates a social problem in our economy. It creates a community problem. Do y'all feel like that? Or you feel like, no, it's great to have a kid young and struggle and learn? Or do you feel like it's a problem?
I would say I feel like it's a social problem because nowadays teens consider being pregnant as like a social norm. Like it's normal to have a kid at a young age when it's not normal. I wouldn't say it's normal, but I feel like we should like promote like safe sex and like wait until we get older until we like fully have a career to have a kid, in my opinion.
I
Uh,
wouldn't say that it's a problem, um, but I would say that's probably like one of the number one reasons people are afraid of having a kid at such a young age because nobody is really financially stable enough. I feel like if everybody was financially stable, it would be different. Nobody would be afraid.
yeah, I
I
don't think
feel
it's
like
much of a. Go ahead, Shay. Go ahead.
I feel like it's not really a social problem because like when you're in that predicament that you're about to have a kid, well, it's either you fight to do better in your life so that you can provide for that kid, or you just don't. But like you would want to take that fighting that and do better for your kid so that you can provide for your kid. So it's all on how your mental is when you have a kid.
Yeah, and I gotta take my words back. I was saying it's $350,000 from K through 12, from the time the kid is born through high school. It's about, and even college, I'm sure that's added in there. The amount of money it takes. So it's not 350,000 a year, but through that K through 12 process or those first 4 years of college.
I just want to add that I don't think it's much of a social problem because I do think that it is a trend, or I feel like it's been a trend. When we look back at it, back back in the day, they've been having kids young, 16, 13, and they have multiple kids. I feel like it's harder now because of um, our economic place right now where we're at in society. So it's harder to provide for that kid, but I don't think it's necessarily a problem. And I also, to add, I don't have a kid personally, but I do have friends who have kids, and they don't want to be old moms. People or old dads. People want to have kids at 20, 21, 22. They don't want to wait until they're 35 to start producing and starting that legacy. So yeah.
But what about the grandparents out there? What about the grandpas, the grandfathers, the grandmothers who got to watch these kids while y'all young folks are having kids and y'all got to go to school and we stuck with y'all babies, right? Y'all trying to get a new career and we got to watch y'all babies. Do y'all think about that? Because I think that's a real, impact socially. I'm a grandfather, and if I got to watch my grandbaby because my daughter got to do something, I'm impacted. So I think that is a social impact that can have if you can't take care of the responsibility of your kid, right? And I see more and more teen pregnancy. I work with young people who locked up, they have kids. So it's like it's a messed up situation, right? And then it's like, I agree. Like young folks want to have their kids young so that they're not old and they can enjoy they um kids and their grandchildren. I think that is perfect. I mean, I have my daughter at 17, so I'm here not to criticize nobody because I was 17 years old. Don't get me wrong, it is nice to have a 6-year-old granddaughter and be able to still run around and chase her and do stuff. But I also understand the struggles, some of the ups and downs, the frustrations that happen, that young people, when they get pregnant, impact families. Okay. I came from a strict family. So let me tell you, when I had my daughter at 17, that just tore my whole family up. My mom wasn't happy. My dad wasn't happy. It was a lot of frustrating, a lot of fighting, a lot of arguing. right? And then, sometimes parents get upset and they want you to go. Oh, you want to be an adult? Then get out and go live your life, right? So those become social problems, right? Now I have to go down there and I'm looking for support. I'm looking for help. I'm looking for housing, right? So that kind of impacts the social part that I think our young folks also need to think about, when they're young. Sometimes, waiting is the best thing. I always have to tell my story because I was a 17-year-old who had a child, and it worked out. It wasn't easy. It worked out for me, okay? It worked out, but everybody it doesn't work out for. And a lot of times our young people, they miss an opportunity not only on college, but just living a life. Sometimes I think young people, and this is why I always encourage y'all young folks that's in college that don't have kids, live your life a little bit, travel, because as you start getting older, there's a lot of things that you miss out when you become a responsible parent young. So I missed out on a lot of things. I didn't get to go to the prom. I didn't get to do certain things that y'all got to do when they was young. I mean, I got to do it when I got older, but man, it would have been nice to go to Miami, go to Cancun, and do all these trips when I was younger. When I had my six pack, now I got a big old belly. I can't do nothing now. So y'all got to remember that, okay? So when you're young, you miss out on a lot of your youth fun activities. You miss that social part. And I just think young people, they need that part of their life. And when they don't get that exposure, you start seeing what we see now all over the internet. You got these 35-year-old grandmas out there twerking and still trying to live their life now. They 35, their kids is 18, but they miss that youth part of their life. So I just think that's something that y'all have to think about when we talk about socially, how it impacts us. A lot of times it impact your parents, maybe not you, but it might impact your parents because now they have to be responsible. And let me tell you, when I was 17, I didn't make all the right decisions. So I had to lean heavily on family, friends to help, do things. And when I had to work late and I had to do things, I had to find babysitters, and it was a challenge. So I just want to also put that out there. Some of the things that socially impacts communities, because we don't have always that village approach of support. So just think about that when, for the young folks out there listening, having babies and understand some of the responsibilities and some of the things that come with it. Tony, you want to say something?
This is a heavy conversation, but we have another question. How do we prevent teenage pregnancy, you guys? What is it that we need to do to help prevent it?
I mean, it's not really, much you can do. A teenager gonna, be a teenager. They gonna go out. It's just use condoms. Use condoms. Yeah, that's the main thing.
Honestly, I wouldn't say that teen pregnancy is all bad because some teenagers or maybe 15 and that's a little young, but some teenagers be acting up like they be wild and having a kid. Some people need kids. It forces them to get their head straight or grow up and get on their business. Like some people need kids. And then others, they might not need kids. That's the ones that be putting it on their mom and their dad, on their grandparents, and yeah.
And this like for the parents out there and stuff, for your young teenagers and stuff, you probably, won't think that, they might be doing stuff. I just feel like just give condoms. Just give condoms out. That'll also help as well. Because, they might not go to you. You might not be their best friend that they go to like, oh, I did this, I do that. So if you just provide condoms for them, then I feel like that'll help as well.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's a good point that I really want to talk about. And I mean, to you all too, because I know y'all on here all y'all don't have children. I know Lynette do. But when we talk about, I think it was a comment in there about, education on our youth in the Black community, particularly when we talk about sex, that's a conversation that is very difficult for young teenagers with their parents. So when you say that, Savion, I want to ask y'all on the panel, like, how easy was the conversation when you talked about sex with your parents, of your immediate mom and dad or grandmother? How easy was that? Because I get a lot of kids that's like, man, I try to talk to my mom and it's like they're interrogating me now. So how easy is it to have that conversation? Is it really that easy? You just walk up to your mom and say, I'm having sex now, I need condoms? Or is it a different conversation? Because I want y'all to be honest. Because I hear this from young Black kids all the time. They say, oh, you just go talk to your parents. But when I talk to these kids that I'm talking to, typically they like, I can't talk to my parents because all they do is yell and scream at me. As soon as I talk about sex, then they all mad at me. So how realistic is that conversation when you talk about sex, and even y'all that's in college? Okay. Um, being 21, 22 years old, what kind of conversations are y'all having with y'all parents? Do y'all even have those conversations? Or y'all feel like, hey, I'm in college, I don't need to talk to my mom about that? I know.
Well, I would say I talked to my mom about it. I feel like me and my mom's relationship, we're very close, so I feel like it was easy for well, my mom came to me to talk about the situation when I had a boyfriend. She came to me and talked about it. So I would say it was easier for me and my mom to have the conversation. But when it happened with my friend, I was there when her mom had the conversation, and it wasn't so easy. Like, she got yelled at versus when my mom talked to me about it, it wasn't like the same. So I just feel like depending on the relationship you have with your parent and how you know your parents going to react, you should like either, I wouldn't say avoid the conversation, but if you do avoid the conversation, you can go to someone else, like a trustworthy adult, and have that conversation with them. Because I would say a lot of my friends like trust my mom, and so they had the conversation with my mom instead of their parent.
I agree. Go to an adult. I'm sorry, Lynette, but
Oh no, go ahead.
I agree. My mom came to me about it. She was asking questions. She was a little pushy too, so I kind of didn't want to tell her, but I ended up, talking to her about it. But you have to expect that with the parents sometimes. Um, they're just trying to do what's best for you, look out for you. So if you can't talk to your parents about it, your mom, your dad, then yes, go to a trustworthy adult or somebody who knows what they're talking about. Don't go to a peer. They don't know nothing. They know as much as you. So
Now, do y'all feel like in the schools? I mean, I know y'all, most of y'all in college now, but in high school, middle school, I mean, how early do y'all, one, how early do y'all think we need to be having this conversation with sex? And then, do y'all feel like those resources, that information was there for y'all at school? Because I think that's something that we should be having conversations in school. I know a lot of schools are doing it younger and younger now. More and more young kids are experiencing, the administration and different things at a younger age. So, do y'all feel like those conversations happen at school? Was it enough training? Was it enough resources? And then, how, when we talk about the prevention of sex and we talk about condoms and things of that nature, now a few years ago, in San Francisco, I know they used to have a Department of Public Health had a street team of youth, and they would pass out condoms and packs to people in the community. It kind of went away, and there's been an increase of sexually transmitted diseases and all of that. So I want to ask y'all, about those resources in school. How old do y'all think we need to start having these conversations with our young people, since our young people are growing up faster and faster, and with the extra amount of exposure to social media and sex being talked about on social media and things of that nature? What age do y'all feel like we do it? And then y'all experience from when y'all went to school, do y'all feel like it was enough resources or enough information regarding sex?
I
um,
feel I feel like high school, like freshman year, that's when they should start like educating in school about it. Just because me being a mom, I don't want my daughter in middle school learning about like sex. Like I don't want her mind there. Like that's too soon. But I know like kids have their own mind and all that. But I wasn't thinking about that in seventh grade. So like I'll hope like my daughter doesn't like ever think that way.
With
Now,
me,
Nate, we have to be honest now, okay? Because I'm telling you right now, I'm working with young men who are in sixth, seventh grade, eighth grade having sex right now. I'm gonna be honest.
yes, this
And
generation
then
I
is
you're
look
right,
on
you're right,
different.
you're
Instagram.
right.
These
I
young
was
kids is fresh out of elementary talking about sex now. So I have to disagree. I think we have to start teaching kids
They're
younger.
starting at like 12 now. Literally,
Yeah.
my
I was
nephew is
gonna
12 years
say
old, and we
like
talk
13
about stuff
around
that I
there.
never even thought of at 12. These kids
Yeah,
are
and
different. This generation is different.
I be realizing that like me working in the medical field with kids, we have to ask now like at 16, but I feel like we should be asking like at a younger age, because 16, that's like they're already doing what they want to do and all that. I feel like at least 14, I don't know, but there do be kids that be exposed to other stuff too.
I think, well, for me, I'm pretty sure at Rolling Hills, we had like a beginner sex ed class in sixth grade. And I feel like that was cool. Maybe like in middle school, because kids definitely having sex in middle school. But I feel like in middle school, it should be more like an intermediate class. But in sixth grade, we had our first like beginners little sex ed class where we all had to go learning about condoms and stuff. So yeah.
That's what I was gonna say too. That was my first actual sex ed class, but I feel like we're at the age that we don't take that stuff serious. Like we'll hear penis or vagina and we start laughing in the corner. So it's like we can't. I think we should have one in.
But that was our generation, though. Like we got to really take into the the simple fact that nowadays these kids are very different. So yes, when I was younger, me and my mom are like this. I mean, we're like this. But I never was able to talk to her about sex, even at 25 years old. Well, really 26. At 26 years old, when I became pregnant, I was still even scared to tell my family I was pregnant because the conversation of sex never popped up. They probably didn't even know I was doing anything like that. Okay, maybe they did, but in reality, we didn't have those conversations ever. So but these kids nowadays, like my nephew and his mom, I had to find out through her that he's 12 years old talking about some old stuff that I didn't would never talk to my mom about. So nowadays, this generation is completely different. They're on this topic. They're in their groups, like talk about it. Oh yeah, that girl over there, she got booty. That at 12 years old, at 10 years old. So if they already talking about booty, what else are they talking about? You know what I mean? So like nowadays we can't talk about what we did in sixth grade or how we was afraid to even say penis or vagina or any of that because they are saying worse thing. They're not even using penis. They using a D word. Like they on a whole different level. So we can't speak on what we did. We have to talk about this new generation.
But I think Lynette, you brought up a good question because I think this is also that what impacts our community. When you was like, hey, when I was pregnant, I still was afraid to tell my family, right? So what about these young folks right now that's like 16, 15, right? And we just have the Roe versus Wade. In some states it's hard to get abortion down, but these different conversations, what's taking place? Because if you already at your age said I was afraid, what do you think that young person who's 13 years old, 14 years old, 50-year old, how you think they gonna feel? How do we get them to open up and have the conversation, or how do we get the families to be open to have those conversations?
I honestly feel like this generation is becoming more norm for them. Not 13, but like 15, 16. It's a norm to them to say, oh, I'm pregnant. Can you take me to get an abortion? Like that's the conversation that they have now. Not even speaking on like, oh, am I ready or not? It's just straight, can you take me to get an abortion? And there's a lot of aunties and uncles and cousins who will make that a norm. Like I don't know. It's just it's not a conversation to be scared anymore. I feel like at least in my community, it's more like, oh dang, she's pregnant. Oh, her belly's big already. Oh, she's just had an abortion. So it's a different conversation to say or a different question to ask, not about them being afraid though, because I don't think they're afraid. And me growing up with most of my siblings having kids at 15, me being the first one to wait till 26, it's like I see the difference. And now with a newborn baby at 26, yes, I would have had a baby early. I definitely would have had a baby early because at 26 now I'm in my prime. I want to travel. I want to get my career started, and I just feel like I don't know. It's just like it's just become a norm. It's a norm. It's not a secret anymore.
Yeah, I think that I don't think school is just gonna be enough to inform the youth about sex, and especially like you guys said, we some take it as a joke, some don't. Some start earlier in sixth grade, some wait till high school. But I think it really starts at home, and not just like your immediate household. I think it takes a village to inform people about sex. It, pretty much everybody, like my great uncles, my mom, my dad, my cousins, they would just say little things. It doesn't have to be such like a deep conversation, but people are always putting little things in your ear that can help you understand more and more about sex. And that's what I think. I think it takes a village to help you have that conversation, because I don't always want to talk about sex with my mom. Sometimes I want to talk about it with my older cousin who might relate more to me about my situation, or maybe not about nobody at all. So that just the village is important.
I definitely think it shouldn't be on the child or to talk about sex with their parent. It's on the parent to bring it up or to make your child feel comfortable enough to have that conversation with you. Like our mom for sure, she asked me a few times when I was younger, but I wasn't doing nothing then. And then like when I was my senior year, she had asked me and I had a boyfriend. And then my grandma talked to me. And then but before that, when I was like 16, my dad had talked to me. He was like, yeah, he asked me if I was, and I was like, nah. And then he was like, well, before you do, this is what I was doing, da da da, when I was your age. And he was just giving me like the male's perspective. And I feel like everybody should have the male's perspective as well. Because he was like, sorry, mom, if you listen, but he was just telling me like all the things he would say to get in some girls' pants. Like he was like, I'm selling dreams and everything. Like they're saying anything just to get in your panties.
So, do y'all think the approach is what we need to work on in our community? Because I know sometimes some parents, when we have the sex talk or relationship talks, it's more of a that scare tactic, try to give you the worst case scenarios. How do we make that communication more transparent, more open, that you all feel comfortable? Is it the tone, how parents bring it to you? Because I got a lot of parents watching today, right? Who might got younger kids who they haven't had that conversation, right? Because the whole part of these conversations that we're doing here is about really changing that narrative, right? We know in the Black community, sometimes these conversations, when we talk about sex, relationships are taboo or they come with a stigma. Okay. So, how, from y'all perspective as young people, what do our parents out there need to know if they're dealing with maybe a kid that's in sixth, seventh, eighth grade, maybe in high school? How do we, from y'all perspective as young folk, how would y'all like that approach to be about sex and having that conversation, right? Because I know it wouldn't feel comfortable if a parent just come to you like, "Are you having sex right now?" Are you, you know what I'm saying? How would y'all like that approach, or how do we get to that conversation where it's not a hostile conversation, it's not a negative conversation, it's not something that's a stigma, but it's something that, you know what I mean, y'all will feel open to and being more comfortable from y'all perspective?
I think that really you can't either way it's going to be weird because you're having a conversation with a child, especially if they're younger, like middle school or 6th through 8th, especially if they're that age. It's going to be awkward regardless. So I feel like if you're the parent, you have to go in like, I'm not saying you're doing this, but if you are, use a condom, wrap up, use protection, all the STDs, have like that whole conversation, but don't like you're doing this. Don't assume that they are, or don't even, I'm not saying you even have to ask. Just tell them what the safety precautions are.
I agree, and I think that it's also helpful to be real with them, like to share your personal experiences. I want to hear about, like, the bad times, the good times, the awkward times, all of that. Because how can you expect me to be open with you if you want to tell me, you have to be open with me first, so I can feel comfortable to be open with you and tell you, oh, well, this is what I thought how it went, or this is how I thought it goes. And I just think it shouldn't necessarily have, it can be a serious conversation, but also should be open and flow and be able to relate. If I know what you did, if you tell me what you did wrong, I don't know what not to do in the future. You know what I mean? So I just think that's important.
I don't know if that's always the best thing, Devin. I told my daughter all the horror stories, everything, and she still had a baby. So I don't know if that worked.
How old was she?
Well, my daughter was 19 when she had her baby, but I used to tell her everything. I used to say, so I mean, I get it. Sometimes it's just up to y'all. And again, maybe it was not me to be the person that said, and I agree with you, Devin, earlier saying that sometimes you might not be able to get it from your parents. You might have to get it, from a cousin or somebody that's a relative that you feel comfortable. But I think that's why I said that educational part is something collectively as a community, that we all have to have as adults and our young people, so that if somebody do feel comfortable talking to somebody else outside their parents, that person is really equipped to handle that communication and make sure that the right information is being presented to our young folks. Y'all, we got Yaya here. She one of our co-hosts. She stepped in. So I know she gonna have some questions for y'all as well. But we just gonna keep flowing around, and then we're gonna get into also, because I know Lynette is really about mental health stuff. and just talk about the pregnancies and some of the mental health stuff and emotional stuff that young ladies and males go through this process. So she'll be able to give us a good perspective as being a young mom, going through that process, going through the relationship part, having a child. What does some of that stuff look like? But Yaya, if you want to ask any questions and jump in there, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. So I didn't want to ask any questions. I just wanted to, I was hearing everything you guys are saying. I was scrambling trying to get on, but you guys said a lot of good points in this. I am a teen mom. I did go through this whole ordeal. And when I was pregnant, pretty much all of my friends at the time were pregnant. So it's kind of, hard. I hear a lot of people say about how bad teen pregnancy is, but somebody, I don't remember who said it, but somebody said sometimes, even though you're young, having a baby, sometimes a child will slow you down. And that's what I feel like happened with me. I feel like having a child made me grow up. I wasn't trying to, but it did make me grow up. But I didn't miss out on a lot of things that a lot of the teens talk about that they missed out on. I still was fortunate enough to do a lot of the going to prom and hanging out with my friends and all the stuff that you're supposed to do as a teenager. I was still able to do. A lot of it was the support of my family and just me grinding and making sure that I still was able to enjoy my life as a teenager or whatnot. But I do think that in today's time, it is best that we do have an open communication with our children in regards to how crazy teen pregnancy can get, or how the downfalls of it. There are downfalls in being pregnant as a teenager. Regardless, there are downfalls, and I have two boys, and I definitely just try to instill that into them about these were my struggles of being a teen mom. And like with, I know Lynette was saying that giving the parent the permission, or whether or not to say if they want to be involved in the child's life. So my take on that is, if you do not want to be a parent, then don't have unprotected sex. That's just my take, because regardless, women ultimately have their own, they have the decision, that they're the ultimate decision maker on what's to happen with their body. So for the fellas, like, that's, I know it's hard, and I know sometimes it's slip ups and this and that, but practice safe sex. Like, that's what has been taught or instilled in us since we were all younger, whether we wanted to hear it or not. I remember in elementary school, they talking about that. Practice safe sex, practice safe sex. So I just think that we just need to be more open with our children and have more topics like this, like young people having their say on it, having a input, a voice on it, because a lot of times teens are shut out. It's like, oh, you pregnant, but we're going to hide you until the baby comes, and or we're going to say this is not your child type of thing, and nobody actually gets the input. So I think that them having their voice will definitely help the conversation and help to better educate them.
But I got a question, because I know young people and sex, right? I think one of the problems too in our community is we don't have enough, and when we talk about education, a way to really show them what it looks like. It's one thing to say safe sex, wear a condom, but it's really not giving us a breakdown of what that really looks like. And I think that's something in our community we have to do a better job at when we're educating our community, when we're educating our young people. Like, what does that really look like, right? So some people that's like, I don't want to go in all the details with my mom, but we have to show them, because I think it's the same thing with mental health. Everybody talks about healing, doing self-work, but nobody really tells the young people, really don't get into what that really looks like. I always hear people say, I'm healed, I'm doing the work, I'm doing self-work, I'm healing, I'm working on my traumas. But then to somebody who's listening to one of our young people, they don't know what that looked like. I think it's the same thing that applies to sex. How do we make our young people, our parents, our family really have a full understanding of what that looks like? So when we're telling our kids, practice safe sex, wear condoms, that they actually understand what that looks like and not just some words. Young folks are in college. People are drinking. Things happen. People get into situations where they at the clubs, drugs. It happens. Slip up happens. How do we educate them? Like, how do we educate our young women to say, hey, even if a slip up happened, the next morning, if you go and take this pill, this will help, right? Like, I don't think we're doing enough of that education. as well, because I know they do have some pills for women if they slipped up and had unprotected sex, that they can take some kind of pill the next morning to help them. But I don't hear a lot of those conversations. So I think that's just something that we got to really break down. What does that look like? And make sure that our community and our young folks know how to get access to those resources and those services.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. There are a few, I know for the one show Teen Mom that just came out some years ago, but that's like a really good reality of the ups and downs of being a teen mom. Like they didn't have stuff like that for me growing up. So my living situation was kind of off for a bit of my life. So I didn't have anybody to kind of tell me, but you're right. Like that's why being a part of programs and mentorships and having a big sister, if you don't have, family to tell you or talk to, join sister brother programs or whatever type of programs that'll help. Try babysitting, babysit somebody's kid, bad kid, to see that, oh, I don't want this. Like a lot of times, and that's just facts. Like a lot of times, you just hear a lot of people like, oh my gosh, your baby is so cute, I want a baby. Go babysit. Go babysit for 2 days, for a weekend. Let me go out of town. You come watch my kid and you see that this is not what it is. This is not what you want. And especially when it comes to single moms. I was a single mom with my first child. I was a single mom. My story, I was pregnant at 15. And this is stuff that I don't even talk about a lot because it's really heartbreaking to me that I was such a young age. But I was pregnant at 15. My boyfriend at the time went to jail maybe he was there with the birth, and he went to jail a year or 9 months. My son was 9 months. I did not see him until my son was 12 years old. So I was forced to be a single mom. I had no choice and I had to figure it out. So stuff like, they tell you see all the, especially on TikTok and social media, Instagram, you see all these kids and they dress their kids in these every Jordan and all the nice outfits, but they don't tell you the back end of it. And that's a lot of they should do more of that, showing the back end of me having stressing at night because I don't have nobody to help me and I'm trying to sleep, and my baby also trying to want to wake up and it's time to eat, but I'm trying to sleep, or I got to get ready for work and I got to figure out how am I going to get my baby to school or whatever with no transportation or whatever it may be. So I think it should be like that. Like I said, the Teen Mom show is a good show, but it should be more type of stuff like that to show the reality of it.
Also, adding to that too, we need to figure out how to input with teen pregnancy for the youth to know that, yeah, you can have the baby, you can go through all that. But then after, what people don't talk about is the postpartum. And I know postpartum for me at 26-year-old is, I'm like, ooh, going through it. I didn't get the rough side of it, but then there are some people that do. So with teens, with postpartum, and you don't talk about that, that could be something that could really take someone's life or even take a child's life. So those are the things that we need to speak on with the youth too, because it's not just about creating the baby, but also the aftermath of what comes with having that baby.
Pretty good perspective. Any of our other young folks that got anything to say?
I agree because with Yaya, because my cousin, she actually was just talking about getting on here too. But she has a son who's 4 now, but when he was first born, I was definitely babysitting all the time and stuff. She would always give him to me if she wanted to go somewhere or something. I'd have him for the weekend. I'd have to wake up in the middle of the night and feed him, change his diaper and all that stuff. So I definitely feel like I have a son and I'm cool. Like I got to give him back, but it was inexperience, I have to say.
Definitely.
I do have to agree, like with you, because when my friends be saying like, "Oh my god, I want a kid," like, "Oh my god, like mom's so cute," I'd be like, "You guys want to watch her? You guys can watch her for a weekend and see. Like, it's not just, it's more to it than just a cute baby. It's so much behind being a mom. It's a lot. Because especially a single mom, because like you're a mom full time when your baby's with you. So
Shay, you didn't say how old you were neither when you had yours.
I was 16 when I was pregnant. I had her at 17. And yeah, it was hard. I'd say it was hard because I felt like the odds were against me just because of the simple fact like everyone thought I wasn't gonna finish school, everyone thought I wasn't gonna do this or do that. I finished school early and then I went back to school. So it's like that's why I was saying it's all on your mindset when you're pregnant or when you have a kid.
Period. Okay,
Yeah, people
because
don't talk about.
that's exactly how it was for me. Is that sometimes when you're a teen mom, they expect you to fail, and that's exactly how it was. Like that's how they didn't expect me to graduate. I graduated top of the class. They didn't expect me to continue on and go to college. Did that, graduated. What's next? Have my own business. So a lot of times it's and it's mostly society. Society has it like that because if we look back, and I'm not at all saying it's okay to have teen pregnancies, but if we look back at our great grandparents, they were our ages having kids, but they also had their husbands and that type of. So it's not like we were. I don't know what the ages was for for bearing children, but that was a lot of the ages back there when you hear about that. But they don't expect you. They expect you to just continue to keep having babies, continue to not doing anything with yourselves. So I definitely applaud you for even doing that and moving forward like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, very powerful stuff. Amaya, you want to say something?
Mhm. I would say yes. Me, I watch kids a lot, so that's why I like the giving back kids part. Yes, I love seeing babies and stuff, but I'm also yeah, you could take your kid back because I like to enjoy my life also. So and I also see that like with some of my friends who did have um kids at a young age. Um and like they don't have social lives. I also see that part too. Especially it's all about like your support system. That's basically like the strongest part. I would say if you do end up having a kid and you do have a strong support system, that's great. But half of the time, some people don't have a good, strong support system. So that will make sometimes it harder for them to have a kid.
Yeah, that's very powerful. I mean, a lot of that stuff, it happens all the time, especially for the young ladies. All you young ladies on here, to our young ladies who are watching, some of the families that's inboxing me. This is a very important conversation. I'm glad Niche said what she said because at the end of the day, it is true. Most times in our community, the women is left to bear the child when the relationship is not happy anymore. And this is why I tell the young people to take your time in relationships. Even me being a 17-year-old dad, you're going to change, you're going to grow. So the person you like, the person you with at that time, as you start to evolve as a human being and doing the things you do, sometimes those relationships don't always work, right? And then it's like now you have to deal with the other part that sometimes we don't talk about, right? Now, how do you transition this person you was in love with in high school or this person you thought was your everything? Now y'all done grew apart. Now y'all got different views on life. Y'all have different understanding. Now this dude walk away. Okay, the mom is typically the person that's going to be responsible. The courts is going to make sure that the mom is getting the custody. I mean, this is how the system is driven. So, to our young women out there, understanding that responsibility, like it's going to fall back on you. Not saying that it's right. Man should be stepping up, but typically in this country, the woman bears the responsibility of kids, and I think that's why this conversation about pregnancy, safe sex. How do we think about when is the time? Because again, young ladies, you will be the one stuck with that responsibility, and you always don't get help. And I'm glad y'all made that, that understanding out there, the community, because a lot of times these young folks don't understand. You can't go to the club. Your friends who's single, who don't have kids, they going out partying, and you will be like, I want to go out. And then no one's going to be able to watch the kid for you. Or you have to go to work the next morning. Your kid waking up 2, 3 in the morning crying, right? And you still have to get up and get through the day. It's a lot of stress. And that's why I commend women who go through that as single life because it's hard. It is a challenge, and I want our young ladies to understand that is what we have to have that conversation. All right, we got another guest who come in. We're gonna keep the conversation going, but we got 10 people up. I got another guest is joining. I'll bring her up. I'll move somebody to the back. Don't feel like I'm moving you off. Just sit back there. We'll give her an opportunity to speak. But Lynette, if y'all want to talk about the mental and emotional stuff, I just think we need to also have a conversation about teen pregnancy and peer pressure, right? Because some of y'all, young ladies, young males go through it too. Peer pressure to have sex, right? Young dudes go through it. They in college and it's like, you 21, you ain't had sex yet? Oh no. Then the dudes is laughing at them and bullying them, right? In a different way, right? Sometimes those jokes turn into peer pressure to push you the other way, right? Then for young ladies, that's not having sex, right? Sometimes these young girls have friends who are sexually active and they laughing at you like, girl, you don't know what you're missing, right? What about the peer pressure in pregnancy and youth sex as well? We need to talk about that as well. Well, I'm gonna bring up Fee. If you want to come on and jump on and say something, everybody's at a closed thinking point right now. Maybe you could come in, recap some of the stuff you hear, or if you want to go ahead and talk about some of the things you heard, I'm gonna open it up to you.
Hi everyone, my name is Sophia. Nice to meet you all, and thank you for allowing me to use this platform. So I was actually a teen parent as well, and I want to say that a lot of what you guys expressed on here was definitely on point. And Yaya, you as well. I'm reading some of the comments too. Definitely having a baby with a boy does not keep a man at all. I had my kid at I was pregnant at 17. I just turned 18. So our birthdays are like back to back to each other. His is April 9th, mine is April 6th. And it is a struggle. Like, although you can get through it all and it's possible with all things through God and everything, it's hard. It's definitely hard. And I kind of want to, sit back and kind of see what the conversation is going and how it's going. And then I'll tap in when I, you know, feel moved to.
But I wanted to ask you a quick question because you talked about that experience. I think that's a great, segue to what's going on, with that. How did you feel supported? Being a young parent, how was it when you came to your family about being pregnant? Was it an easy transition? Was your parents like, what the heck? Like, what was that like for you?
So my dad is a lot older. I'm 31, and when I first told my dad was like, "So you gonna marry her, right?" Trying to like yoke up on him and stuff like that. So it was that. I had older cousins telling me like, "You don't have to go along with this. You don't have to have the baby. You don't have to do that." So it's different people in your ear, and at the same time, like you're gonna hear different perspectives from everybody, but at the end of the day, it's you on your own. And to be honest, I did not at the time have a lot of family support, and I got kicked out like right after I had my baby, not that much longer. So I had to figure out a lot on my own.
Wow, very powerful stuff. I'm glad you said that because I think in our community, we don't talk about this enough. When our young folks, young teenagers get pregnant, for whatever reason, our parents do push us out to the streets. They feel like, you hear that, you think you're grown, you got a baby, now go out there and figure it out on your
Right.
own. I mean, not even if you are pregnant, right? It's just something in the Black community that we have to change that narrative. And this is why sometimes our community is behind, okay, and other communities are advancing. Even with our young people that's not having children, right? Just turning 18. There's a lot of parents kicking their kids out so they turn 18. Oh, you grown now. Go out there and figure it out, right? If we don't support our young people, and I think sometimes, you know, these are some of the reactions that we see and some of the things that goes on in our community. And I think that's a narrative that we have to change. We have to get our mothers and fathers of the community to understand these young folks when they're 17, 18, 19 years old, they always are not equipped to go out there and be responsible. But I think as a culture, as a community, Black folks as a whole, we got to change that mentality. We got to let our kids be home with us until they're ready to walk on. Yes, we got to make them, grow up and get them out the house. But I think we still have to give them that time. Sometimes kids at 18, 19, 20 years old, they're just not ready. Even though they talking back and they got attitude and they want to be grown, they're not. Where other cultures, they allow their kids to stay there, get them through college, and
For
help
sure.
support them. And I think we don't talk about it, but I'm really glad you pointed that out because that is something that I get from all of the teen parents. I know a lot of these young teenage parents, their parents are like forcing them to get out. because they having a baby, and I think that's a real hot spot in the conversation that we definitely got to talk about. But I'll pass it on, Tony, if you want to ask any questions or say anything.
Yeah. My question is for the teen moms. Like, when you had your babies, did you still have your same friends that you had before you had your babies? And then for the ones that don't, the ones that are not teen moms, how do you feel when you have friends that are teen moms? Do you still want to hang out with them because they're teen moms? Like, how does that affect you in that way?
I do still have the same friends I had before I was pregnant. Like my daughter calls them auntie and uncle. So like I feel like that didn't play a part in our friendship at all. Like it didn't mess up anything.
What about you, Lynette? Come on. I know you didn't keep all your friends. You got to unmute yourself, Lynette.
I think she said her sound just went out. But for
All right,
the people
try
who
to log
don't
out
have
and log back
kids,
in, Lynette.
for the people who don't have kids, I felt like having a baby made us closer. You just got to support your friends.
I would say I still stay friends with the people who were my friends that had a baby. Um, I would say it did make me and one of my friends closer. Like we did rekindle our friendship because like we were we stopped being friends at one point. But then when she did become pregnant, I start like talking to her more and checking up on her more.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I'm surprised because usually be a lot of issues when young people get pregnant. They friends get mad because they have a baby by somebody they like. They didn't tell them, so I'm surprised y'all all kept friends.
I never, I never heard of that, John. I I kept my same friends, and I just feel like if you lose your friends based off of you just having a baby, then those weren't your friends to begin with. In my opinion, I mean, yeah, you could, it's certain things that your friends could probably do that you can't do, but I don't see you losing a friendship over the fact that you had a baby at a young age. If anything, like Amaya said, it should bring you closer to your friends, or now your kid has somebody that they look up to as their aunties and uncles. I have some of my friends I still communicate with now, and my kids to this day still call them aunties. So I don't think I see people stop having like being able to go out but not necessarily lose friends over that, or over a guy. Well, that's a different topic, but yeah, I got you.
I had a lot of friends I lost. Let me tell you, I don't know where planet y'all on. I lost a lot of friends. I was 17-year-old. Okay, my partners wanted to hang, they wanted to roll, they wanted to smoke, they wanted to do stuff, and I had a baby, and I told them, hey, I got to take care of my baby. I got to get home. I can't hang out. So a lot of my partners was mad. They wanted to go do certain things I couldn't do. And I lost a lot of those friends. So I mean, it was real for me. I had to make that choice. Either I go hang out and with the homies, or I'm gonna go be a responsible father. And I chose to be a responsible father. So I lost a lot of friends. I mean, I still kept majority of my real close, solid friends, but I lost a lot of friends as a teenage father because they wanted to hang out, go party, and do certain things, and I couldn't do it, and they didn't want to hang with me because I was too busy.
I feel like with having friends with kids, you have to make compromises. So if we all want to go out, but say um, my friend needs a babysitter, sometimes we'll stay in, sometimes we'll stay in with her. Just you got to make compromises if you want to have friends with kids.
Yeah, I agree. It's just like, damn, they got a kid, they can't do this. So it'd be like, come on, let's do this real quick. I got a babysit. Damn, like you can't go. But I don't think it's that deep to where we can't be friends no more. You just gotta understand that like they got a whole life to build, a whole life to raise. It's a sacrifice that they gotta make. So, if that's your real friend, you're gonna be receptive to that and just be like, damn, okay, I'm gonna let them raise their kid. Like that's important. That's more important than going to the club or going to the smoke shop or whatever we're going. That's more important than just some little night out. So if you're a real friend, you would compromise, like Nia said.
That's
And
facts.
and that's
Yeah,
what I
I
love about my friends, because it's like it's never like we have to go out or we're gonna go do this. Like we just chill in the house. with the like with my baby. Like we'll just watch movies or do like fun stuff in the house. Like it's not about always going out or missing out in the pub and all that because it's always gonna be there.
You can
Princess
definitely.
just said, John, that you lost associates, not friends. So there is definitely a difference. Keep
Whatever
that in
you want to
mind.
call them, whatever you used to call them. I used to hang out with them every day, and now we wasn't hanging no more. So whatever it is. But Lynette, you lost your mic. Come back on there because I know you was walking the runways, modeling. I know you lost some of them folk that you was hanging around.
No, actually, I didn't. But I hear what everybody is saying. At the same time, you got to remember it's not just one night that they're going to say they can't go out. So let's say you want to go out this weekend or the next weekend, or let's say you got these dates. That parent or that friend of yours that's a parent now may say this one week, oh, I can't go this weekend. Then you come back again the next weekend, oh, I still can't go this weekend. So it's going to continue. So you guys saying like now, oh, we're not going to be friends no more, this, that, and third. But it's going to be multiple weekends that they cannot go out. But then you guys also have to think about your friend that you're saying no to, that deep down inside them, that's gonna hurt them too. So now you have to think about their mental, like, okay, then every time I'm asking them, can they go out? Can they go out? I'm not really sure your name because I can only see my face right now. But the other mom in here, you say your friends come to your house with you and chill with your kid and this, that, the third. But then there's all the time that they do want to go out. And Maya said earlier, some people don't have that family that's going to be there. I do have that family, so I got lucky, but there's some people who don't. So we have to think about how do we talk to those, or how do we get their mental upright, that's to those who cannot go out, and say, maybe you just have to choose a different circle group and have those groups when you can go out and those that you cannot.
Lynette,
Fee, what about you on this topic?
So my experience is a lot like John's. Like I lost a lot of associates and my friend circle is real small. But I got to keep in mind that we're all human and relationships are just relationships. It's a two-way street. So, if they are truly my friend, it's no love lost. I have to decide like if I'm going to be on some crazy stuff with you or if I'm going to stay home and raise my child. And a lot of times I'm going to stay home and raise my child. A lot of my friends, some of them were teen moms as well. So I do keep in contact, but they still be on some crazy stuff too. So I just be on my lonely stuff, working kids. And just like any other, friendship, regardless with the kid or not, you guys are going to go your separate ways. But, if you could tap in with that person and it's no love loss and it feels like it's the same, like I don't take it as a negative thing, but it happens.
All right, we got another guest joining us. Savion requested somebody else, so I'm gonna be moving people around the stage. I know some of y'all backstage don't think I'm kicking you out. We just got to make room for everybody to get in there. Miss Bree, are you there? You want to join the conversation, or you need a second?
I'm here. Wait, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can't see you. Or we can hear you, but we can't see you.
Okay, yeah, I'm here.
You want to input on the conversation? Was something you wanted to talk about? Are you a young parent, or what's the deal?
I'm a teen parent, yes.
Oh, well, talk about the experience. Let us know how it is. So we got some real live young folks. Tell me how this teen pregnancy, motherhood been going for you.
It's stressful. It's a lot of depression, anxiety, and feeling like you can't support your baby when you're going through other things. Like I've been going through a lot with my child, like from being kicked out to arguing with my baby daddy to left and right. And I don't know, I've been trying to cope with everything and be a strong parent.
Wow, very powerful stuff. So I guess you're talking about this, and I think we talk about this a lot. And I think Lynette talked about postpartum. But when we talk about mental health in our community, making sure that our young moms have access to resources for mental health services. Do you feel like there's access to that with all of the resources given and things that you're going through? Do you feel like there's access to that support, or are you still having trouble connecting with community organizations, family, and different folks like that to get that support?
It's the family for me. I know pregnancy and having a baby shows everybody true colors. It's like everybody turn their back on you once you have your baby. And I think it's the weirdest thing. Like people, young teen moms need the most support when it comes to having a kid because 9 out of 10, we never with the baby daddy. We always break up. And either your baby daddy a deadbeat or your baby daddy around, or you just got a baby daddy that's there but not there. So it depends on the situation. But I like a lot of people left me because I got pregnant, and then they just turned their backs on me.
Wow, that's a common thing that I hear from young people, and sometimes I get frustrated with community folks and some of our adults in the community because I hear this more and more, and a lot of times people say that's not the reality, but it really is. And like I said, we're about really changing the narrative, and trying to figure out how do we support. And a lot of times, like you said, maybe the other resources for mental health support is there, but really we be needing our family. So I think the bigger thing is, how do we have these conversations with our mothers, with our grandmothers, our aunties, our cousins, to really find out how to be a support system and not so much a negative, like, oh, we're going to make it hard for you learn on your own. Because I think in the Black community, especially, we tend to want to punish our kids, and we want to make them go through these rough times. And I really never understood that. Is it like, if you think making it rough for me is going to make me make a better decision, it might not, right? But if you educate me and give me that understanding and let me walk through this process, I might be able to do more. So I agree with you there. I think we really got to have these conversations, and that's why you all are so powerful to come on and tell your stories. I think the only way we change this in our community is we have to have these conversations, right? We have to have folks that is vulnerable, right? Because a lot of times people are like, oh, we don't have the conversations. But like Savion and Devin said earlier, they try to get young males to join. They won't join, right? Same thing with our young folks. Like if we don't get people vulnerable in our community, to step up, have these conversations, be vulnerable, then we're never going to move forward. And I think these conversations are very impactful and powerful when you all come on and have these conversations. Uh-oh, hold on. Somebody moving around. Hold on. There you go, Bree.
Yes.
All right, we got some other people trying to get into the studio. I'm gonna move some of y'all. Just move around. Just hang on. And if you need to say something, put in the comments. I don't know who's moving them around. Hold on a second. Let me do this. But y'all can put y'all comments in there. But yeah, we like to hear from y'all. Continue to flow. But I know it's somebody trying to get in. So let me see. But yeah, go ahead and continue. Nia, did you want to say something? Did anybody want to say anything after that? Nia, anybody? Y'all cameras or your mics is off.
I want to say something to Bree though, real quick. Bree, I could get your email or something or anything like that, but we definitely can talk because I'm a new mom too. I'm not sure your age, but I'm definitely not a teen. But I can definitely be there with you. I know if you ever want to reach out, we can definitely do something.
Okay.
That's what's
I
up.
love that. That's what this platform is about right here. And I think somebody put it in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you have aunties and cousins and all of that on. You are officially adopted. So whatever you need, we got you. And I'm not a teen mom. I became a mom at 29, 30, and it was hard then. So just being a mom, period, is hard. It don't matter what age you are. But I really do encourage you, like, if you can wait until you can, because I was like, when I from 18 to 25, I was on a plane every weekend, partying, having a good time, enjoying myself. So I will really encourage you, if you can wait, live your best life until you have your babies. But for those teen moms that's on here that's doing it, congratulations for not giving up, because you had a choice. You had a choice to say, I'm gonna be that baby's mom, and I'm gonna stay here, and I'm gonna do this. And so I congratulate you for that.
Man, most definitely. And Bree, we're going to definitely do our part to support you before we end today's show. We're going to figure out how we can connect with you, get you connected with resources where you at, and see if we can support you, because every little bit makes a change. And, I really commend you for coming on and being vulnerable and speaking up, because that's what we need, right? And there's community organizations. There's people that I know that we connect with all across this country. That we'll find the resources and make sure whatever kind of support that you need, we definitely will work with them to get with you. And I'll reach out to Savion too and just make sure that you connected. One of the things that I'm advocating for here in San Francisco in the Bay Area that we're doing is try how do we create these day camps for single moms, right? Because a lot of times for y'all that are single teen moms or just young moms, y'all don't get the support sometimes to go out and get your nails done and your hair done. And I'm trying to work with a couple of organizations right now where, we could get your kids into a programming and we give y'all a day. And we also help with support financially to get y'all a day out to just do things because a lot of times y'all don't get those breaks. That causes anxiety. Sometimes that causes depression. And a lot of times, that impacts our community. And we want you to know that you're supported. And we just happy that you was able to come on and talk about it so that we can really reach out and find out how we could get you some support. And thank you, Lynette, for stepping in there trying to connect. I think this is what this is all about. When we talk about changing the narrative, it's about us helping each other, supporting each other, whatever we could do, whether it's just a conversation or having somebody who could relate, I think is very powerful. And I know Lynette, with her experience of being a mother, going through what she's doing, be a great resource for you. But again, we'll make sure we'll make some connections and get you some support. And again, how do we feel about these support groups? Because I think it's very powerful. How do we create this, whether we do it on Zoom? I kind of like the hybrid models doing stuff in person, but I think Zoom is a good tool as well because you can reach different single moms all across the United States to have these conversations, right? And then you build this network of people that could give people access to resources and information that they need to be better. So we'll talk about it here on this platform and figure out maybe we could get Lynette to take the lead on that. She's part of the organization. And maybe that's something we create, right? How do we create a forum for our single parents, right? Males and females, right? Have a support group and have a way that we can connect each other with these services and resources. I think it's something that we need to do.
I feel like that is something that should happen. I'm pretty sure Bree came on just thinking she was just gonna speak and not even know that there are people here for her and that she has resources and everything now.
That's right, man. And thank you for making that connection. This is the power and of our youth team. You know what I mean? So Savion, you reaching out, bringing her here is definitely going to open up some opportunities for her, as well as this is what we want to do. We want to utilize this platform to make sure that what we're asking and what we need is supported. And we're gonna make that happen. And we'll figure out how we're going to do that to support each other moving forward. Anybody else wanted to jump in there? We got about 20 minutes left, so I want to make sure that everybody, um, you know, get something to say. If it's something you want to touch on, even if it's outside the realm of this pregnancy conversation, because this is a youth conversation, and we want to make sure that all of y'all voices are uplifted and heard. If it's something y'all feel we didn't touch on that you think is something that need to be talked about, this is the time. Let's do it and get it out.
Well, I just want to say if anybody does know anyone that's a teen that's pregnant or just had a baby, you can definitely send them my way because we can start something ASAP. We don't have to wait on anything. We can get that moving now.
I do have a young man with me that just had a baby as well, and he'd like to speak as well. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
I can't hear you. Speak up, young brother.
You can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. You gotta turn your volume up on the computer. You're kind of low.
Oh, shoot. I got you.
All right, go ahead, young brother. Talk to us about your experience of being a young father, brother.
Shoot. I'm 15 doing this, but it's like, it just really, like, it depends on, like, how the female acting, bro. It's like, she get, like, irritating, don't even say nothing. It just be multiple stuff about it. Like, I ain't gonna lie. It be a lot on, like, that type of stuff, for real, for real.
So are you saying the struggles that you dealing with is more of the relationship part, or are you talking about the part of being a young father?
And that too, both.
So how old is your baby?
She like 2 to 3 months.
2 to 3 months. So it's been a challenge for you these last 2 to 3 months, then, huh?
Heck yeah, through the whole pregnancy, for real, for real.
So what kind of support you need to be a better father to make the situation better? Do you feel like y'all need young teen counseling or young parenting classes? What you think you need to make
I
that
be,
experience better?
I already got like people that support me. Like my brother, got him. I got all my other brothers. They support me, so I'm straight. But it just be like, it just never do it again. For real, for real.
Wait a second. Never do it again. What's going on, man? You can't say that. Never do it again. What's wrong? Tell me what's going on. I want to know what's going on. Yeah, this is a learning experience for you, brother.
I ain't gonna lie, I just never do it again.
Okay, so I have a question for you. What who was this? Princess Washington has said a topic that everywhere slice of advice, I would tell them a baby does not keep a boy or man. So in your situation, was that something, were you guys in a relationship, or how did that come about? And I asked that question, I want to ask that question also to everybody. Do you feel like uh a baby will keep that person, whether it's a man, the man or the woman, a baby will keep that person? Do you feel like that will keep that person, or that's going to shy them away? I see a lot of y'all shaking your heads. And the reason why I asked is because when I was pregnant, that it was flipped. So usually it's the women that are like, oh, I want you to have the baby. I mean, I'm going to have the baby, or I'm leave, or that's whatever that stuff is. For me, my son's father was begging me to keep my child. Like, he was basically talking about killing himself if I ended the pregnancy. So it was different for me in my situation. How was it for you guys, and how do you want to answer that question?
Okay, well,
I
Brit
see.
is 2 months, and our situation is more so the distance and everything that went down when I first found out I was pregnant. That's more so where his emotions come from. And at first, when I was pregnant, I had my emotions, my hormones, and I want to be with him. No matter what, he could cheat on me 5 billion times, I still wanted to be with him. It was bad to that point. And then, like, I be trying to build a best friend bond because we parents. We gonna talk. And I feel like we should at least be best friends. It doesn't matter if we don't talk about everything, but at least try. And like, I tried to break down to him, like, I feel like that we should have a bond where we could communicate no matter what, mad or not. That's how I feel.
Wow, very powerful stuff. Anybody else wanted to answer that question? I know you wanted to jump in there. Who's that was trying to jump in there?
I ain't gonna lie, it's just, I'm a young nigga and I'm stressful. It's just stressful, for real, for real. I ain't gonna lie to you, but
I could barely hear you. You got to
it's just
talk
like
up a
a
little bit.
long
You got to
distance.
talk up a little bit louder. And then everybody else who ain't speaking, mute your mic because I'm getting backfeed and echo. But I can barely hear you, young man. What's the stressful part?
The long distance, for real, for real. But that was the only thing. But if it wasn't for none of that, I ain't gonna lie, I would probably be still straight, or we'll probably be beefing out. But
So you dealing with a long distance relationship.
I was dealing with that. That's over with.
So what are you gonna do now? Okay, so you got the baby now, 2 to 3 months. Y'all got distance in between y'all. You said the situation is stressful, but as a good brother, you got to take care of your baby. So what are you gonna do to reconcile the relationship, or what kind of support you need so that you keep that relationship and that bond with your baby?
So I'm gonna keep visiting my baby and keep going down there to see my baby. Sure. Or she gonna come up here.
Now, are you making the right financial decisions to save your money to bring your kid there so you could be a provider and all that stuff?
Heck yeah. I can't just. Mm-mm. That's
Now,
disrespectful.
how old are you, young brother?
I'm 15.
So you 15 years old, so you got to figure out this
Finna be
responsibility
16
thing.
in a
So
couple months.
you got to put your plan together, right? You know, as a young man, now your back is against the wall. You got to get your blueprint ready and figure out how you're gonna be a impactful dad, right? So now you got to figure out how to get out of your high school situation. You might have to take a GED early, right? So that you could get out there and start making money to get benefits for the kids. How you thought about all that stuff?
Hey, yeah. I'm trying to get rich. Oh God, I ain't trying to be no 9 to 5 nigga. I'm dead.
But that's fine. However, you got to get there. But my thing is, are you putting your plan together though? That's what I want to know. Is there a plan in place? Do you got a step by step what you doing? Because you know, a lot of us we wake up and we think about the armored truck coming to drop off money to us, and we just go make a bunch of millions, and it don't happen like that. See, because I was one of those people. I
I
thought,
for surely need help with my plan though. I ain't gonna lie. I just need people just to tune in to Kev CEO. You feel me? That's all it is. But you know, me and Savioso gonna do crazy for surely.
so you in the music industry then?
Yeah.
Okay. So if the music industry don't work, because you know there's a lot of rappers out there, and this is what I tell my young brothers, there's a lot of rappers. And I know everybody think they're gonna make millions and millions of dollars, but that don't happen. But then what is your backup plan if you don't make $1 million, brother?
So start businesses. I'm gonna start like a grow house. Start doing the stuff that I like. I for surely got backup plans.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to connect with you, man. We got to come up with some conversations because that little baby still gonna need milk. A lot of the expensive upfronts gonna be happening that's gonna be needed. So we're gonna reach out to you. We're gonna have a conversation with you because we gotta come up with a better plan to help you support this baby, brother.
Thank you for having me here for surely. I was trying to go in here, but that boy was too filled up. Like the whole thing was filled up. I couldn't even go in here.
That's all right. We got more conversations coming with our young brothers too. So you know, we got some conversations. We get you back on because we're gonna help support you as well.
Can I piggy off that real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay, so listening to y'all too right now, Bree, and I did not get your name. You remind me of myself because I also too am in a long distance right now with my child, who is 2 months as well. Luckily, I am breastfeeding. So I will say for teen moms right now, if you are not breastfeeding, then you are going to go into your pocket early, which means the father will be needing to be in his pocket as well. So luckily, right now, I don't have those struggles yet. But listening and hearing like the money calculations are going to come with my baby's father being out of town where he is from originally. Right now, we don't have those problems, but I am a mom who wants I want my baby to have swim lessons. I want my baby to have clothes, all this, that, the third. So without the help of my family, I would be arguing with him too. But we go back and forth. Our relationship is not perfect. Like Kiana said, she had a baby daddy who was like, have this kid, I'm going to be there. Have this kid, I'm going to be there. My baby daddy is the same way, who is not here. So I'm not going to dwell on the past and saying, okay, well, he's not here. I'm going to mope around. No, now I'm like, let me get out there. I'm going to go do my stuff, go find me a job. Okay, I'm trying to find one online, but it's not working. But I'm still not going to sit on my butt and say, mope around and say, oh, this is just not it. It's not working. The baby's here now. If the father's not going to be there, then oh well. It's time to move forward, and I got to do what I got to do to make sure I provide and give everything that I want for my child to be able to happen and make sure that he has anything and never have to ask for nothing. So listening and saying, oh, I'm gonna wait on my rap career, or I'm gonna have a grow house. All that is what I literally deal with on a regular. But now it's like we're adults. I don't care if we're teens or not. We're adults. We have a child. So now it's time for us to step up and make sure that we have some type of guidance, whether it's this group, whether it's another group, whether it's one family member or a fake family member. That now we have Bree, I'm your family now. So now you have me, you have us. So if it's those little steps, anybody out there, we can go find them, tell them I'm an auntie that's ready to be an auntie to everybody in this world, everybody in my community, in your community, because there's no way that we just gonna say we're gonna argue and be mad at each other, because that's not it. We got to move forward now.
And really quickly, sorry not to cut you off, but Bree, you are getting a lot of love because there are a lot of moms that have been through or are still going through what you're going through. One of our other co-hosts, Ayana, she was trying to comment, but she has bad service where she's at, but she just texted me and told me she wants to give you her phone number to contact her, as well as she's wanting to do, she has her own daycare and she also does nails. And John, you were just talking about that for women, and she's trying to figure out something, and I will help her and assist her in this as well. But she wants to do a free night for moms where she will watch the kids and let the moms go out and enjoy their day. And also she wants to plan some type of spa where she could pamper the parents, because we do need that. And you were saying, John, what is there to do? This is what there is to do, what you're doing right now. I definitely appreciate that. It was not a lot of we had some stuff when I was younger as a teen mom, but now it just seems like they're far and few in between. So I know you have pointed out about the Black community and how we push our kids out. And that's crazy, because if you look at other communities, they promote and help their kids to be wealthy and successful, whereas we promote our kids to fail. Because that's what you're doing when you're kicking your kids out at a young age, straight out of high school. Like you said, if they're not going off to college and you've been living with your parents till all your life, you go out into the world, you don't know what to do. And that's where ruckus happens. That's where they get into trouble and a lot of stuff. I have a child that got into trouble and I did everything right. So, it's tricky, but I think that if we as parents, especially in the Black community, promote helping our children, giving them resources, helping them out, doing, if college is not for them, then some type of trade or something to get them going. But we need stuff like this. We need more talks about pregnancy for teens and just different advice to give. We need more vulnerable teen moms, because if my experience is different from Bree's experience, but who's to say that she's wrong? Who's to say that I'm wrong? So we need more vulnerable moms to tell us what can we do for them, what type of resources we could do for them. Kudos to Lynette for showing that, yes, look, you're going through some of the similar stuff that I'm going through, and I want to help you. And that's what I think we lack in communities in general, but we lack as Black women, is that we're so busy trying to compete against each other that we're not reaching out to each other and helping each other. I don't babysit kids, but I'm gonna help you in other ways. Whatever way I can help, I'm gonna help. I'm one of them ones, I don't like to babysit, but I will definitely help you. And I want to make sure that whatever resources I have, that we're providing them for you. So before you log off, we want to get your information offline and just be able to pour that help. We're your family now. And I hate to hear that, hate to see that when they say they lose a family. You don't have that problem anymore. We're your family and we're here to support you. And thank you, Savion, for even bringing her onto the show, because now you have a family.
Yes, and I think this is your email up there. I'm gonna show you the power of our community, Bree. Okay, there's people texting me. They like, give me your email. They want to help support any way they can, and we're gonna show you the power of both sides of the conversation. Our people is gonna get behind you. I see Miss Mary, different folks saying that they would like to come on and support and help and volunteer. So this is what this does, and this is what we talk about: changing the narrative and making impact. Okay, when people hear these stories, there's a lot of people out there who want to help. They want to give back. They want to do something to help our community, but they don't always know how to do it. And this is why these conversations are so powerful. And this is why we need our young people to be vulnerable, willing to speak up, because there are some elders out there who want to help support y'all. But again, if they don't hear the stories, they don't know how to connect, then they can't do anything to help out. But because you all got the opportunity today, and we're going to continue these conversations going on and moving forward, we're going to be able to impact. Okay. And this is the impact of what we're talking about when we talk about impacting our community, being able to take these type of topics, dealing with our community folks, and finding people in the community that's willing to help support, to make sure that all of our community folks come together in solidarity. When we talk about solidarity, this is solidarity 365 days a year, figuring out a way that we empower our community. We bring the resources, the information, and these intersections together so that our young folks, our elders, the folks of our community get support, get opportunity, and a way to connect with other community folks. That's what we're trying to do here, and we're doing our part. I know we got a few minutes left. Does anybody else want to say anything before we start closing out today's segment?
Did we ever talk about, I added on a little late. Did we ever talk about like the young men and their accountability? And I feel like you did touch on it, Lynette.
A little bit, but go ahead. You kick it off and we go jump in. Go ahead.
I feel like I can definitely relate to you a lot because it's like you have the child, you know, they're in your stomach, and then you give birth and you have that bond with them. So it's like you see the motivation there. You want to grind. You don't want them to go through exactly what you went through. You want better for them. But it's like the guys, they're checked out. It's like out of sight, out of mind. You don't wake up to the baby every day, especially if y'all not together or anything. And that doesn't really change because I'm still dealing with it at this age, accountability. So I definitely wanted to touch on that as well, because how do we get them, or how do you get a young man to actually learn how to actually parent? And I feel like it happens first at home. But what happens when they're out of the house, or how do you co-parent, or how do you deal with that later on in life, especially, you know, being a single mom or anything? Does anybody want to touch on that?
I definitely want to touch on it, but I want Devin to speak on it, Savion, because they young males. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm agree with you, okay? Black men in America has failed our black women when it comes to parenting, when it comes to mental health, and when it comes to educating themselves on how to be fathers. We have adopted this culture of everybody trying to be gang and gangster and making our kids tough. Okay. And I keep telling these young brothers, okay, making your kid tough is not teaching them how to be a young man. So I think we have to take a stop. And I'm glad you brought this up about accountability, because our young brothers, we got an accountability issue in our community when it comes to black men. Okay. And I'm trying to do my part to change it. It is hard because, again, we have too many grown men out here acting like little boys. And I'm just going to be honest with you. So I feel sorry for you young women who are dating some of these young dudes. We are not teaching our young men how to deal with relationships, how to deal with their emotions, how to have emotional intelligence, right? And I think that's what's infecting and impacting our young brothers in our community, right? And we got to do something about it. But I think the first thing that we need to do is we got to start more brotherhood groups in the community. And again, we got to get men in the community vulnerable, willing to speak up about the things they go through. Just like y'all so eloquently express the depression, the anxiety, the things that you all go through. Our young men in the community are dealing with PTSD, dealing with anxiety, dealing with depression. They are suffering in silence. Okay. And we need to have classes. We need to have classes to teach young men how to be fathers is the first thing, okay? More than fatherhood is having sex. We got to talk about the responsibility part, and we don't have a lot of that, okay? And that's something that I want to bring. The young women and the women of our community are doing a better job than men. They are having more women groups, more women empowerment groups, and I think it's time that we do the same thing for our young men. But the other thing to change this in our community, and this is where I get mad at, okay? Because it starts with each city, each state. We have to do a better job investing in young black men in our communities. Okay. I'm in all of these meetings. I'm talking to these funders. I'm talking to these different departments. Okay. When it comes to young black males, there is no large investment in our young black males. And I'm being honest, there's nothing against women or nothing like that. But I want to be honest with y'all. Okay. I go to these meetings. I see the money that comes to these organizations. When it comes to black women, they will give you free housing. They will give you food. They will give you child support. They will give you Medi-Cal. They will give you mental health support. Okay, whatever a woman needs in our community and these nonprofits, they will give it for women. But when you look at the opportunities for males, those opportunities are not there. Typically, the only services that males get in our community, this is current. This ain't no BS, okay? When we talk about male support, the money goes to incarceration, and it goes mainly to substance abuse. Okay. So again, if you want services for a young male to get mental health or housing or some kind of support, he has to be incarcerated. He has to be on probation. He has to be somehow tied to the justice system. Then they'll support him, right? Or he has to be in substance abuse. Either he's on drugs, he sold drugs, or something like that, they'll give support services. And that's where we have to change it. We need more organizations to focus on how do we put the financial component into investing into young black males early, because we are missing that across the board. Okay. And it's no shot against young ladies and women, because I think all of these services that are provided for women are much needed. But again, when we talk about a community as a whole, and I keep telling these folks, all we're doing is healing one half of our community. So if you give black women all these access to services, access to higher education, access to all these different things, and we don't give it to black males, you're only healing half of the community. So
But
we
John,
end
I'm
up
gonna
back.
have to disagree with you on some of that, because the men get the same. A man could go apply if he's a single parent, or if they could apply for Medi-Cal, they could apply for housing, they could apply for all of that. But I think with a lot of the men, they have their ego in the way. So it's like, I ain't about to, like, if you're raising a baby, it's single men out there, it's single parents that are men out there, and they're raising children, and they won't go and get the support that is needed. So there is support for men, but a lot of the times they don't want to get it. They don't want to be, I'm not about to go apply for welfare or whatever the case may be. So it go both ways, but having people like you to talk to them and show them the support is, I think, what could help change things. But it's out there for them. I've never heard of, you can't apply for something just because it's usually the sole parent. And that's the problem, is that it's the sole parent. So whoever fully has a kid is who gets to go and apply for stuff.
So again, I'm gonna push back on you. I'm in these meetings. I know what's going on. So I'm not saying there's no support, but let me tell you, the amount of funding and support goes to black women. I know this for a fact. I'm a part of these meetings. I'm a part of these grants. I know what these organizations get when it comes to young women, black women especially. The amount of money that is invested in black women in this country, in this city, in the Bay Area, is predominantly pushed towards our women. I know this for a fact. Okay. So yes, there are programs, there are opportunities for our men out there. But when you look at the larger numbers and you look at the access to services, predominantly those services are provided for women. And we could talk about it later, but I got the numbers and we could go at it. But I'm telling you, so we got to invest in our young males in the community. We got to invest in them early. Too much of our money in our community when it comes to young males are reactive services. We need preventive measures. We need preventive dollars. When we talk about violence, most of the money is in intervention and the reaction part. We don't do enough in prevention. And I think that's what we got to do. Invest more money up early, faster, and for these young men so that they get these opportunities. And if it's starting mentor programs in our schools, making sure that they get access to services early, bringing mental health services to these young folks, we definitely have to be there on the front lines to address it. And a lot of it has been the disappointment of our communities. A lot of times, the community folks don't want to go get these services because there's so many loopholes, so much red tape, and so many obstacles for them to get access to these services that they get disappointed and don't, walk through the process. So we need folks that can help navigate those systems, make sure they have access and can walk them through to get those services. And again, having those conversations, being able to empower them in many different ways. I deal with a lot of reentry folks who are coming home and the support is not there. The resources are not there. And we have to do a better job as organizations, as community leaders, or elected officials to make sure, if we really want to change the paradigm of what's going on with young black males in our community, we're going to have to put a major investment in these young brothers in our community. And we have to do it preventively and not just reacting to the violence and what's going on in the community. We have to make that a standard. And again, we're doing our part to try to put that together, but we got to work together in solidarity to make these changes so that we can have a complete healing process in our community. So a lot of work, but for as accountability fee, I agree with you. We lack it with our young brothers, and we ignore the fact that they're not doing a lot of times the things that they need to be supportive, not only to the mothers, but to the folks in the community. But Savion and Devin, go ahead. I want y'all to say something and get y'all perspective as well.
Yeah, so I was trying to say, John, well, let's get this brotherhood group started. Definitely. And I'm not a father myself, but I'm all in for it. Kale here, who had came to speak, I took him under a wing. This is Rakaya's little brother, but I took him under my wing as my little brother, and I just try to guide him all to the right directions and everything. And I'm willing to do that for all the brothers for real. So let's do it, John.
For sure, man. And I appreciate you. And that's what we talking about, leadership. You get what I'm saying? And I commend you. And I take my hat off to you, young brother, you, Devin, and the rest of the young brothers. Because again, this is how we make the change, right? I always tell y'all, leadership is about demonstrating what's possible. Okay? Everything else don't mean nothing to me than leadership. If you're not demonstrating what's possible, you're not a leader. So again, you taking the initiative, bringing them under your wing, connecting them with service, speaking to them. That's what leadership's about. And we need more of it from our young brothers, especially you. You got a lot of fluent Savion in this music industry. You got to use your voice to also uplift and empower these young brothers. And that's why I told you last time, when you write these songs, think about the things that's going on in the community, how you can use your voice to also bring solidarity and unity to the community. And you're already doing it by bringing a young brother up under you and keep guiding them. You don't have to be a father to give good information. Sometimes that's a problem in our community. We feel if we don't have the degree in this topic, or if we don't have the job in this area, that we're not qualified. And everybody has a voice. And we got to empower everybody in our community. You don't have to have a degree in that area to give some good advice, okay? We can all give some good advice, and we have to start doing it, and we got to keep uplifting and supporting each other. But I appreciate that. I'm glad you brought that up. Continue to do it. And yes, we'll have a meeting, me, you, and Devin, and figure out how we could get a young man's group going, and we could do it hybrid so that people all across the state, if they want to join, we could get them on and give them good tools and good information. But Devin, go ahead. You want to jump in there?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I just think as black men, we got to speak up more for the things that we want. And I feel like maybe that's part of the reason why you say black women have more resources in the community, because they speak up for the things that they don't like and they don't, and that they see unfair. And I think that we have to do a better job at that, and maybe more money will come to us. And also for the accountability, I think it's kind of like taught. I think we need to teach more that it's more gangster, it's more real to raise your son, and not just all the other stuff like partying and whatever else it is. But that if you have a life that you created, that should be your number one priority. And I think that has to be talked about more too within our conversation.
Devin, that is so. I was just about to say that I think a lot of some moms need to be hold their children, their sons accountable. That's what I was trying to say. I am a mama voice, and I feel like a lot of times the moms they pacify their sons. So if you're pacifying your son may have children, and you just like, oh, that's his responsibility. But us as moms needs to hold our sons responsible. Like, I definitely hold that's your child. Get your child. Don't talk to her mom like that. Like, you have to teach your kids to be respectful. And a lot of times the parents are like, well, that's them, let them do them. No, I'm not one of those parents. So I think if we get more of those type of parents too, that will definitely help. It won't change much, but it's a small change is a good change to me.
And
I agree.
while you speaking of the moms, all the moms out there listening, when you got a male in your life that's helping support your kid, don't be out there trying to tell a man to take it easy on my son and all of this stuff. Because a lot of times there are men trying to help our young brothers, but then we got these women coming in here talking about, oh, don't say it like that to him. And hold on, if we gonna teach him how to be a man, let us do our work and sit back. Okay, so a lot of these mothers out here. Hold on.
Let me stop you there because y'all men need to make sure.
Let me tell these mothers something real quick.
We're not gonna do this in front of you. We ain't gonna do this in front of you.
These mothers out here is half of the problem, okay?
But no. Y'all men need to make sure
got your back, John.
Have the women understand. Mute yourself, John. Mute yourself.
Thank you.
Kick him off the platform, even though it's his platform. Okay.
Now, you're absolutely right, Tony. What he needs to understand is that you have women like myself, been a single mom for 13 years, doing this on my own, and then a man comes into the picture, and it's baby steps for me. You gotta do baby steps.
You heard her. Baby steps, baby boy.
Go with the baby
steps, baby boy.
I commend all you mothers who do all of the work. But when you get a good brother that's trying to come in your life, whether it's a mentor relationship, don't be so resistant, okay? Let the brother do what he do, okay?
Don't
Y'all
be
gotta
so
stop
strong
pushing back
coming
so much.
in too,
I'm gonna
though.
tell
Don't
you,
be so
because
strong
a
coming
lot of these
in.
young brothers is picking up y'all bad behavior, okay? So y'all mamas on the phone, twirling your hair, gossiping. Y'all gotta watch that,
Wow, that's
okay?
what we doing.
Oh, that's how you doing
Okay.
it. You better cut
Okay.
that out in front of this youth, okay? You don't listen to
All right,
that.
all right.
Y'all don't
We're
listen
gonna
to
have
that
another
now.
conversation about
Yeah,
our
we
mothers
sure
and fathers
will.
of the
Yes,
community.
sir.
To
But
be
again,
continued.
yeah,
Yes.
we're gonna continue because
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you a lot of the problems that we having with our young people is not the young people fault. A lot of it is the adults, the males and females of our community. And we got to keep it real and we got to have that conversation. Because again, I think a lot of our problems we dealing with in the Black community is the problem of adults and their bad behavior and their misjudgment and the way they go about doing business on the day-to-day business is a lot of our problem. So we're gonna have to address that. We'll have a conversation about it. But again, you mothers out there, okay? I need y'all to listen. When you got a good brother that want to step in and help you out and teach these young men how to be young men and not sitting on the couch playing video games and trying to teach them how to be a man, don't be pushing back. Let him do what he do so he can help him out to be a young, good brother. That'll teach him some accountability. All right, before we go, anybody else want to say anything?
You see how he just went
Yeah,
through
you just
that?
started
You
a
see
whole
how
new
he
topic.
Hold
You
on.
just started a whole new
Hold
topic.
on. I see Bree up here with the baby, and I'm happy you brought the baby because, again, community needs to understand it is a challenge, and we are here to support you, young lady. And we'll definitely get your information when the show ends. But if you want to say anything, Bree, just go ahead and say it now if you want to say anything.
I feel like with the men, it's not enough support for them for like where they could go to help them how to be a father, basically. And like I know I done yelled at my baby's father and said, "You need to be a dad. You need to reach out and ask about her appointments. You need to do this. You need to do that." And it's like he never had a baby, so how can I expect something of somebody that don't know how to be that? And that's why sometimes I just take it easy. I call him, I make sure he's here. But when we bump heads, like I make sure we get our breaks in because it be mostly our breaks that we need from each other. 2 to 3 days, then we back cool. But that just goes to show like either a man like was raised to be independent because a lot of black moms I know like my brothers are very independent and they do their own thing, but not a lot of men was raised right or that's that independent. Some do need help, and I feel like with the mental health, it's not just on the female, it's on the men too. When a female get pregnant with a man's baby, the mental health do go to that man because they feel everything you feel during your pregnancy. So I feel like they should be able to have the same stuff we have, and they should feel like it's okay to get help. It's okay to ask a friend, "Can you help me?" I just feel like it's okay.
Man, that's very deep, very powerful. I agree with you. And I see somebody keep taking it down. You see, they agree with me. Y'all see that community agree with me. They know I be keeping it real. But again,
We all agree with you,
we
but
gonna
it
have
just
we gonna
depends. So let's
have a
add this to the next topic because
we gonna have
you gonna keep on cutting us off. So let's add this to the next one.
okay. So that's what I'm gonna promise the community because I know y'all been wanting to have relationship conversations. When I come back from vacation, we're gonna kick off September talking about relationships and how we work and interact with each other in the community. I think that's a very important part of what we need to have conversations. But I'm gonna set it off. I'm putting gasoline on the fire because again, we gotta have real conversations. But to Bree, I agree 100% with you. And I want to connect with you, and maybe I could talk with your kid's father. But I understand too, being a young mom, single mom. It's that two part you're dealing with, right? You got the relationship part where you're trying to like deal with what y'all have as two folks in a relationship, and then you have the part of raising your son and having that conversation with him on how to be a father to support you, and as well as to help do the things that is needed for you and the child. So I think that's a conversation that we definitely need to have, and I agree with you. And I really want to put together some kind of father parenting programming or some kind of video that they can at least watch or go through to help them out because I think we need this in our community for our young fathers. And again, like I said, I believe the women get a lot of those services when they're going through their pregnancy, going to the doctors. They have different pamphlets that they give women on how to be moms and different things of that nature. And I think we don't do as much for males. And I definitely want to reach out and try to support you on that. But with that being said,
real quick, John.
Go ahead.
Just to throw this out there, I don't know if everybody knew, but Kel, who had came on, he's the father of Bree Lynn right there, and that's my god baby as well.
Oh, okay. So now, wait a second.
So we got two perspectives.
See, so now, Bree, I'm on your side. Now I gotta go in on him. Savion, make sure that young brother call me. Cause he over here talking about growth plans and all this. He needs to be working on growing this little baby up right here. But we got a real.
We got you though. We got you, Bree. We got you.
We need resources over here from my young brother too.
Yeah, we got them both. We got them both. It's a family affair.
Girl, I'm always on him because I feel like me not really having a stable father in my life, females need their father more than anything. So I'm always trying to tell him, like, she needs you more than anything. You don't want nothing bad to happen to her, because then I'm going to go to jail. And what you going to do about it? She needs her father. She needs to learn how a man's supposed to treat a female and how a lady acts. And I just want him to be more lenient when it comes to her and understand where I'm coming from. But I see he's trying. He's getting there slow. It's a slow process. I mean, it's better when she was first born, but he's getting there.
Well, that's growth to you. That's growth to you, and I appreciate that. Go ahead, Tony. Sorry about that.
Bree, I just wanted to say the same thing. I appreciate you holding that man up like that in front of everybody on this platform, because that's another thing. As we have to uplift our baby's fathers, and I appreciate that, Bree.
Well, I just want to start off. Can we stop calling our folks baby daddies and baby mamas our child father? Can we use that? Because I think we got to get that out of our community too.
Yes.
Because I think it's just so ghetto, and I think it's just so demeaning. I know a lot of people refer to that, but I think we need to change that in our community and refer to our children, fathers and mothers as the child's father and mother if y'all no longer together. But again, great conversation. I appreciate you. I respect you for that, Bree. Nothing is perfect, but through patience, through being humble and, having grace. Somebody put it in the chat earlier, having grace, we can really transform our community. We can really transfer the paradigm of our community. I think this is what we're talking about when we're talking about changing the narrative, right? Having these conversations also bring open opportunities. It brings dialogue. It brings healthy conversations to our community. You all done a phenomenal job today with that. It's never enough time to have these conversations, but I want to invite all you all back. I think we should have a part 2. I think we should get some of our other parents to come on. And I think we got some more conversations that we have to happen. I know, Fee, you didn't get all your questions answered on accountability, but I would like to invite you on another show that we're going to do when we talk about that in our relationships, as well as the stuff that we're doing in the community, because I think accountability just goes beyond more than just parenting. I think we got accountability as elders and leaders of the community. That we have to do a better job, and that's a conversation that we really need to have. And I'm definitely going to get your information so we can connect you and have you on our list of panelists. So when these topics come up, we need people from our community to come on and have these real conversations and be vulnerable, right? I know some people get embarrassed. I don't want people to see me. Your truth is what's going to change the life. That's why I always talk about what I go through, what I went through as a young man to help these young brothers out. Because if nobody talks about that experience, they feel like they're going along that journey by themselves, and it's empty sometimes for them. But we want to empower the young man. We want to empower the women. But again, we want to bring our Blackness together, whole in solidarity, because we want these relationships to work. We want our young babies to grow up with moms and fathers. You get what I'm saying? So they get a fair opportunity in life. The numbers don't lie. The more families that we have together, the better off those young folks do. Not saying that single mothers and single fathers don't do an amazing job. But again, when you have a unit together, those children thrive and they do amazing things in this world to impact our communities. But teaching them respect, teaching them humility, teaching them the things that we need to do, that is something collectively that we all have to do as community leaders, community youth, community adults, elders, and young folks together as a whole. We got to continue to work together. Today, I experienced leadership today from the young brother Savion, Devin stepping up, to the young moms who came on. man, we got some powerful people. All we got to do now is work together, put our ideals, and I think we can move things forward. With that being said, we're going to get ready to end tonight's segment. But before we do that, we're going to let all of you phenomenal folks give some partnering words, some advice, some encouragement words to the community, or if you want to give out any shout outs to anybody, this is the time we typically do it at the end of our show. So I want to pass it around. If you want to give any parting words or any words of encouragement to the community, our young parents out there watching, to our mothers and our fathers that are out there watching, some of our seniors and elders that are out there watching, this is the time. Give them that feedback. We're going to start with you, Lynette, and we're going to move around the room.
Um, my positive feedback would be listen to your baby. If you're going through something, if your baby father's not there, listen to that talk right there, because that's going to keep going. That's going to keep pushing you, and you won't give up just knowing that you got somebody that's right behind you.
There you go. You see the young brother in the back talking about, Mama, I'm hungry. Go and feed your young brother. There you go. What's up? Look at that. Beautiful babies. Look at these beautiful babies on here. I'm proud moment right now. All right. Miss Bree, you want to say anything? Give me last words or any shout outs or anything you want to do? This is the time to do it.
I really appreciate Sav and Kaya for letting me know and to getting me here. And they been my support, even though they're farther away from me, but they've been a good support team through the whole situation. And they've been like holding my hand through it. Even with the arguments and the ups and downs, I really appreciate them for helping me with what they can help me with. And so far with my baby's father, I really appreciate him taking the time out. And I know he didn't want to say really what he wanted to say because I was here and he sent me, but still he talked and at least he's trying. I feel like at least when a black man is trying, it's healthy.
Wow, very powerful stuff. And we're going to continue to work with y'all. There's a lot of people that's going to be reaching out to you, connecting with you. We want to help support you and make sure you got all the services and support you need. And I'll do my due diligence to make sure we find out where you at and connect you with those services. So we appreciate you. We're going to continue to pray for you, uplift you, and hopefully with you connecting with Lynette and some of the other folks on here, if you're feeling down, if you're feeling like you're not supported, dealing with anxiety or any kind of mental health, I'm hoping that these folks here will be an outlet for you, or you feel comfortable with somebody and you can reach out to and talk to. Because again, having those folks around can sometimes be the difference in the change maker in our lives. So just appreciate you humbly. All right, Miss Fee, go ahead, Miss Fee, and say something to the people.
I want to thank everybody for allowing me to speak. For the mothers out there, I don't want you guys to get caught up on the idea of being together with that partner or person, or falling in love with what the potential of them trying to hold some things together. It's okay. Everything's going to be okay. And for the fathers, I just feel like, you could look on social media and see a nice car you want and set up a plan and think like, hey, I want that and work towards it. But you got to think like, if you have a child and everything, that's very impactful for their life. So you could do the same thing for, your child. You just have to actually want it and try. But thank you, if that made any sense. Thank you, y'all.
Tully says, thank you very much, and we appreciate you. And again, we're going to connect with you, make sure that we get back so that we can tackle some of those questions and stuff you still had about men accountability, because I think we're going to split up the show. We're going to try to get 3 men, 3 women to come on and talk about accountability, responsibility, and things of that nature, because I think it's just very, very important, very powerful. With that being said, Brother Devin, you want to go ahead and say any parting words before we get out of here today?
I just want to thank all our guests for coming on and giving your perspective, because it's very, very well needed and and impactful for our conversation. Also, I want to say that for the teen parents, y'all could do it. I seen it done. Although I'm not a parent myself, I seen it done, so it's doable. So just know you could do it and don't give up.
All right, very powerful stuff. Brother Savion, my brother.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for coming out today and tuning in. And I'm really serious about, starting up these groups for the females and the males, and just being that support system, because, everybody don't have it. And, I feel like I'm ready to, step up to that plate and help everybody out. That's been a dream for me since I was a kid to help out the entire community, entire world for real.
Man, very powerful, man. We appreciate you, and me and you will have a conversation about these groups. I think this is important, and these kind of conversations bring this out. Community, if you are listening, you are hearing from some phenomenal young people. When they say our young people don't have thought processes, they don't understand clearly. You can hear some young folks who get it, and we just thank all of their leadership and their confidence and their vulnerability to be able to come on here and speak and let community know what's going on, what's the issues, and the support that they need. And as community leaders, elders, elected officials, these are the type of things we need to get behind. Make sure that they're funded and supported so that we can help our community thrive and continue to ascend, as Miss Tony Rochelle always said. But with that being said, we're going to move on to Miss Nia. Nia, your last parting words to the community before you leave today.
I just want to say thank you for watching and tuning in, and thank you to all of the brave guests we had, and to all of the teen parents out there. Just keep going. That's all I gotta say.
All right. Thank you, Nia. Miss Yaya, Mama Yaya, come on here and talk to the people.
I want to say I was a teen mom. I beat the statistics. I did it, and you guys could do it too. To the teen parents, both of you, all of you guys. I feel like um, we are definitely here to support you, and we're gonna get through this together. We are our family now. You guys are a part of our community, and we're gonna get through this together. So whatever resources or advice or anything you need from me, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I will definitely reach out to you guys as well. Thank you for joining, and thank you, especially Bree. Thank you for being very vulnerable and telling your truth, because that's all we need, and that's all we need to do.
Yes, definitely very, very important. And thank you all for being vulnerable, speaking up, because it takes that vulnerability to make change. We need other young people. We need our elders. We need our families to hear you guys' voices and listen and be impactful. And it's very, very important. And to our parents out there that's watching, you heard from our young people. The conversation of sex is needed. The way you respond to them when they bring issue to you needs to be thought about before you do it. Hostility won't move the conversation forward, but transparency and honesty is what our young folks say they need, and be truthful of your flaws and the mistakes you've made so that they can understand and relate to. It takes us all, but it takes someone to take that first step. With that being said, Miss Deja, go on and say something to the people before we end today.
I just want to say thank you to all of our guests for coming on and talking. And then I know Nishay logged off a little early. She had to go drop Alani off at Alani's father's house. But yeah, to all you teen parents out there, if your friends aren't supporting you, go find you some more friends or some better friends that will support you, because that's all you need, really. You don't, even if your baby's father isn't there, your friends will be there. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And Deja, I just want to congratulate you too, because you always start off our youth conversation. You always give a great perspective, and you're very thoughtful with your communication, and you articulate things very well. So just want to just give you your little shout out and your props too. You always listen and paying attention, and you always give some great perspective. So just want to thank you as well. With that being said, Miss Tony Rochelle, go ahead and holler at the people, Tony.
Oh my God. First, I want to say great job, you team, for showing up and showing out like y'all always do. You keep on impressing me every time we do these shows. And I'm Savion nephew. You cleaner than a whistle today. You showed up and showed out. Thank you for bringing the extra guests on. That was a delight. Bree, we got your back. And I'm sorry, I can't remember your baby's father's name. But we got you too. Markel, we got you too. And Lynette, thank you for reaching out to Bree to have her back. That's what community is about. Community. Look at Lynette. This is a young baby that's helping somebody else. This is what it's about. Community, come together, keep having these conversations, keep being in these rooms. Youth, keep being vulnerable. And parents, you heard the message. Keep ascending, everybody. Thank you.
Man, Barry Fowler. I see young Kel on there. Young Kel, you want to say something before we get out of here, brother? You got anything you want to give back?
Sure. Thank you I have to talk to about like stuff like that. Tell them what I'm going through for sure.
All right, young brother, we appreciate you. We appreciate you being honest and transparent, and we're looking forward. I'll be connecting with Savion to reach out to you. And definitely, we're going to start some kind of young man's group. And to our community folks out there, if you want to get your young folks involved, young brothers, please reach out to us. We'll put something together where we can meet with these young folks. We can do it on Zoom so everybody can get on. But I think we're going to have to do this. And I just appreciate Savion and Devin taking the lead. Okay, we got to talk about this accountability for our young brothers. We got to figure out as men, how do we change the narrative about parenting, about fatherhood, about manhood, and how do we make those corrections so that we could be a great impact to our community and we could be great impact to our children. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give my outro to the community. This was a great conversation today. I am elated to have our young people of both sides of the conversation. I know Amaya had to jump off, and today we had a full crowd. Typically, we only can have 10 people on the screen, so you missed some of our other youth. And, again, these conversations are powerful and very impactful for our community. When we're talking about changing the narrative, when we're talking about those stereotypes and those stigmas that are put on our community, these are the conversations that start the icebreaker to get us talking, to get us thinking, and figuring out how do we move our community forward. It starts with our young people. That's why this conversation is so important, because we want to hear from our young people. They are the future. We are the elders, we are the leaders of the community, but we have to be open to listen to our young folks, listen to their perspective. We can't just tell them we got the age and we've been through the experiences and we know more to them. We also have to listen to our young people because they have an outlook, they have a vision that sometimes is different than the vision and the lens that we see out of. But we have to be open as adults, we have to be open as mothers and fathers, we have to be open as community leaders to listen to our young people. Our young people are very, very impactful. This phenomenal panel has been going on for some time now. If you haven't caught some of the youth conversation, go back and listen to some of the other conversations that they've put together. They have been great. They have given great insight and great perspective. Again, we're going to continue to bridge our communities together. We need our elders and our young people to come together to have these conversations. And we are committed to doing that here at both sides of the conversation. We will continue to have these difficult conversations, these taboo conversations, sometimes the stigma conversation that doesn't happen in our community, to really have impactful change. When we talk about mental health, when we talk about the things that we need, we're going to continue to address them here on this platform. So to all the young people, phenomenal job. To all of our young listeners out there, to all of the parents who have kids who texted me and said, I have my young folks sitting here listening right now. We thank you and we commend you, because these young folks are very, very much powerful influences. Sometimes when you hear people your age or in your age range, it'll click, it'll turn on, and you'll get that information to move the community forward. We're going to continue to do our part. We're going to continue to have these difficult conversations here on this platform, and I will be putting the gasoline on these conversations, because the truth needs to be told. It needs to be heard. Our young people have a great perspective. We're going to listen to both sides. We're going to hear from our elders. We're going to hear from our young people and everybody in between, but we will not let these thought processes and some of these stereotypes push our community in the wrong way. We're going to make it happen in the right way. We're going to bring the data. We're going to bring the statistics. We're going to bring the number, because I know numbers don't lie. People do. Now, you can alter numbers, but a lot of these folks don't want to have the truthful and real conversation. Here at both sides of the conversation, we will keep it authentic. It will be real. It will be from us. We're not going to get corporate over here. This ain't CNN. This ain't Fox News. This is community. You're going to hear from our people, and they're going to change the narrative. Accountability. Black men, you've heard it several times today. Where we at, brothers? We got to step up to the plate. We got to do our part. We got to help our women out. We cannot just be making babies and not helping raise these babies. I need my black men to stand up. Okay, we got to stand up. This is my call to action. Black men, we have to stand up, get behind our mothers, get behind our children, and let's move our community forward. Nothing happens if we don't have a complete unit. So, brothers, I encourage you today, if you haven't talked to your child mother in a while, if you haven't been involved in your kid's life in a while, if you ain't paid child support in a while, black men, let's go, step up, let's do our part, and make sure that our communities are impacted, and make sure that our presence are felt in these circles, in these spaces with our queens. Together, we can do amazing things with patient time and humility and respect. We will get there. Thank you all for tuning in today. That is it from us. We'll see you all on Tuesday as we'll be out in the community. Look for the both sides of the conversation. Y'all see us out there. We will be out there for National Night Out. For all of you looking for backpack school supplies, we'll see you next Saturday as we'll be over at Collective Impact and Mo Magic 1050 McAllister. We'll be doing our backpack giveaway. And again, on the 13th, we'll be partnering up with B Magic, making sure that all of our community folks get access to those backpacks and those services. If you need more information, reach out to us. We'll be putting it out in our newsletter as well as our community events. If you don't know how to connect with us, go to our website. The information is on the screen up there, www.bsotc.org. Or you can always hit us up at info@bsotc, and somebody will reach out to you and answer all the questions that is needed. With that being said, there's nothing else to say. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Be peaceful, folks, and understand we are in challenging times, but together in solidarity, we can make all the changes we need for our community. Be impactful. Start this week off leading and doing what's possible. When I talk about leadership, right? Showing and doing what's possible. Let's have a great week, everybody. Be safe out there. I love you, youth. And for the rest of y'all on the panel, just hang on. We're going to end the segment, but I want to make sure we get all y'all contact information. Community, peace, and love. We'll see y'all all out in the community on Tuesday. We love y'all.